evening, folks. How is everyone?
Well, but the swelling's going down.
Good.
I don't even want to know.
It's an old dad joke, but I love using it.
I'm clutching my radioactive gold close.
Good for you.
Yeah. Anyone who hasn't seen the show is going to get that reference later, but all right. I got some paperworky stuff before we get started. And unfortunately, I was busy trying to do 20 million things before this, so I am unprepared, and therefore I'm going to yammer until I manage to, make that work. Hello, Ben. Kofi, I always forget to mention this until the very end, and by then everybody's left. So, yeah, I actually have it up. It's working. Memberships are working. Monetization is working. All the things. This is Zephyr. Zephyr is a very old guy. He's 12. He's had hip issues since he was a baby. He wasn't raised very well as a baby. Zephyr has an appointment on Wednesday. We are trying desperately to make sure he comes back from that appointment because he's in really bad shape right now. So I am not attempting to pay my own medical bills this time. I'm attempting to pay his. So if anybody has a couple of dollars that they can throw my way, that's wonderful. Don't get me wrong. He's going to the doctors no matter what. But I'd like to not take it out of my mortgage and have to worry about whether or not we can cover the mortgage. So, this is going to be a really busy week. I am here tonight. I am on Jacob's channel tomorrow, and Slice and Dice will be beginning season 3 on Wednesday. We have the fabulous Professor DM rejoining us, Everett Games, and Grim Jim. And we are talking about the Critical Role effect, how Critical Role has affected gaming. So yes, we are getting back on gaming topics. For those who have been messaging me wanting to know why I haven't been talking about gaming for a while. And I feel like there's something else that's super important, but my brain is mush today. I either need less alcohol or more. I'm not sure which. So hopefully it'll come to me, before the show is actually over. And with that, we are talking today about Harsh Realm, the last 2 episodes. Only one of these actually made television. And it's really strange which one they chose to make television because it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever to end the show on this.
Yeah. And it's a dumb episode.
Yeah. Like I said last week, this one could have been episode 8, and then the previous Santiago episode should have been the closer.
Mm-hmm.
See, I disagree, but slightly. And I disagree only because the opening to this sounds like we have not been watching this show for 9 episodes.
Yeah, this is the one that doesn't start with a dumb later, right?
No, instead it starts telling us everything we already know. It should have been like episode 2 or something from the way the beginning of it starts.
Yeah, 3 at the latest.
Yeah.
And the way Pinocchio's acting in it too.
That's true. He does seem to have regressed in this episode.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dutch, you were saying?
I thought that was just the way they tried to explain it. Radiation sickness was making him act like that.
Well, except that he has gold lust the entire time, and he goes back to his most dickish. That's about what it amounts to. Yeah. And we start off here with what Harsh World looks like before the explosion. So apparently they programmed Harsh Realm so that it basically runs parallel to our world with exactly all the same people in it. Um, and I think don't they tell us what date and time this is?
I know it's at noon. I don't remember what the date was.
Yeah.
Yeah, but didn't it say it went online at
I think it was sometime in October of 95.
and this show came out in '99. So I guess the implication is that Harsh Realm has existed for 4 years.
Got to be
And
longer than that. 'Cause
Santiago is
that,
basically the first person who gets sent in. So,
but it has to be more than 4 years because that soldier had 2 kids and one of them was at least 10.
say that again.
The soldier that we met, he had more kids with his wife. Besides the
true.
teenage kid, he had like a 10-year-old kid and then like a 5-year-old kid. So it has to be longer than 5 years.
Well, we did theorize that this was supposed to be. I mean, it came out in '99, but we did theorize it was supposed to be future tech, but like near future tech.
Oh, right. So in other words, like it didn't take place in 1999. It's just the show was in 1999. Yeah.
You know, if we assume that maybe it was 2005 or something, and it went online in '95, but the show, was cast in '99. I mean, it's not terrible that they make it a little vague as to when it takes place because sometimes shows really date themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they did say like exactly 4 hours after it came online or something like that was when the nuke went off.
Yeah, there's a certain amount of like interesting like moral discussion to be had here because the idea is that this guy is programmed to set the bomb off.
Mhm.
I don't know if he's supposed to actually be a real person that they've just given this role to, or if he's an extra that they kind of plant in. But
I can't imagine they would have a real person die for this. It's
No,
only
no, no.
supposed to be
I
a
mean, like,
simulation.
no. What I'm saying is, like, is he the simulation of an actual person?
I think everyone is, aren't they?
Well, no,
Well,
because
then-
like Florence or whatever her name is like a creation
Aside from glitches.
Well, but it's interesting to think that maybe the reason the glitches exist is because they went and they didn't do a straight copy paste of reality. Like maybe the fact that they copy pasted reality and then they tried to like tweak it by adding this extra person in with a bomb.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, what I'm saying is, can you imagine being the guy that the government was like, yeah, he seems like the kind that would probably blow up New York?
Hey, maybe he was somebody who actually conspired to do it, and so he's rotting in jail somewhere. They copied him and put him in.
Maybe, but that's what I'm saying. It's interesting to try and figure out. So the other thing is that it seems quite certain that the priest is an actual person, and the priest spends a fair amount of time, I think, like if the virtual priest doesn't turn him away to talk to the other guy. Like let's see. Right here. He turns away from him to talk to this guy.
It wasn't this guy. It was the guy with the hat, a little shorter.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't go quite far enough. So he sees him here and he says, do you need help? And he says, there's nothing you can do for me.
Yeah, there's the guy.
Is the priest programmed to turn away at this moment? Or if in real life is the priest the kind of guy who would turn away at this moment?
Well, I don't think so because this guy with the hat comes and talks to the priest, and the priest tells the guy with the suitcase,
Don't leave.
"Hold on a minute, don't leave, don't go anywhere." He then turns to this guy and he's basically like, hey, can we talk about whatever this is later at like 3 or 3:30? He then turns to talk back to the guy with the suitcase, but he's vanished into the crowd. So I don't think he was programmed to turn him away. Like, the priest seemed concerned and asked him to stay a moment while he dealt with the guy with the hat. And by the time he turned back around, Suitcase Man is gone.
Right, but what I'm saying is that does this mean that theoretically, even though the whole purpose of this was to see how New York would react in the case of a bomb, if the virtual reality people have personalities, is it possible they could have prevented this before it ever happened?
I don't think
Yes.
so. I think it would have been one of those things where, like, somehow the bomb would have went off either way.
I don't know,
it
The thing
feels-
is, this instance, yes, it could have been prevented, but then the programmers would have been like, okay, that was weird. Let's have it set
What
off
if- what
here
if
and
they-
it can't be interrupted.
Had people sent into the game, handcuffed the suitcase to the guy. So he has no choice if it goes off or not.
They don't.
Well, that's the
have
thing.
to
I mean,
send-
he looks sorry that he's holding this case, but it's handcuffed to him. So we don't know what
I
got
don't
him
think he-
here.
I don't think there was a choice. I think it's going to go off whether he wants it or not.
They didn't
But
have to send
it
a person
feels to
in
me-
to do that, though.
It feels to me a little bit like the whole.
Oh, that person wouldn't be dead. He'd be gone out of the area before it blew up.
My point is, they could have just programmed it to be on his wrist.
I just find it really
Yeah.
fascinating that they didn't just magic a bomb in. They like specifically had a guy, and they had people interact with that guy, and then they had people who had interacted with that guy survive.
Yeah, that was weird. I was like, how the heck did anyone survive?
He gets his face slightly scarred up, and that's it.
Yeah, but I mean, he's right.
Oh, his hands are
at
all crippled and
ground
everything
zero.
else. I mean, the implication seems to be that, like, it screws up the bomb screws up the programming. Like, the bomb can't. A computer program doesn't know what a bomb is going to look like at ground zero. And so it just kind of guesses, and then you end up with this bizarre, like, rift, I guess. Is that what it's supposed to be? A
Yeah, it's
rift?
definitely, yeah, like a tear in the virtual fourth wall.
But I don't know. It felt to me a little bit like, I mean, there's a lot of really heavy religious overtones to this. I'm not sure what those overtones were supposed to be because it was a little vague. But it felt a little bit like the whole argument about, is it free will if
Well,
God
a
already
lot of
knows already knows what's going to happen?
A lot of the episodes have a little bit of that underlying.
Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
felt like this one had a lot more, and if you think about it really
Yeah, it did.
deeply,
It was surrounded more about this church and this priest guy. So it
Yeah.
was, yeah.
yeah, and in general, it just felt like it was. I mean, on the surface, there's more of it, but if you like stop and think about the episode heavily, it felt like there was even more. But maybe that just is because I watch a lot of Chris Carter stuff, and therefore I'm used to figuring out what all his layers are. So maybe I'm overthinking it.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know.
I found it really interesting to do a lot of what ifing in this episode. I think that's about what it amounts to.
So, like I said last week, I accidentally watched, what was it? Instead of episode 8, I watched this one, thinking it was episode 8, and then this playlist ended, and I was like, wait, what? So I accidentally watched this, ahead of the real episode 8, but it didn't change anything. It didn't affect, I didn't spoil anything or ruin anything for me. I was like, oh, okay, no big deal.
Yeah, I
so-
said, I really feel like this episode should have been earlier.
Yeah, 2 or 3 makes more sense,
Yeah,
but yeah,
yeah.
definitely episode 8 should have been the last episode.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that works.
and that should have followed the Cersei.
Unaired one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even 10, which I thought was an interesting episode, it did not feel like a season ender.
Yeah,
Not
that's
at
what
all,
that's what I
man.
said.
Yeah. That could have been a good episode 9, because episode 10, we'll talk about it later, but it definitely felt like the first 2 episodes with like heavy Matrix stuff, and techno music is all written in the script. It's like, man, I was excited with the first 2 episodes with like the Moby music and everything, and Prodigy. That didn't.
Well, that's
that
when
didn't
they could
pan out.
afford. They could afford to
Yeah.
pay for all that
I
music
know.
in the first couple of episodes.
Dude, also weird synchronicities. Like, it's been happening all day, like since last night's stream. But like, so we heard about that giant clam that was like 500 years old named Ming, and then we're watching an episode of Baywatch Nights, and the bad guy's name is Mingo. That was weird. Other thing was we decided to watch episode of Wishbone for the Odyssey, the Homer Sweet Homer episode. And we found out the dog's name is Soccer, right? Wishbone's actor. The dog's name's Soccer. And it happened on the last day of the World Cup. That was also weird. But then we were talking about Roadhouse during a cop video. Like, I don't know, I made a Roadhouse joke and found out Dudicus had never seen it. And we were talking about Roadhouse. And then we're watching Baywatch Nights, and Jeff Healy's in the episode playing guitar from Roadhouse. And now we're about to talk about the last episode of this show, and it's called Cersei from the Odyssey, and it's all about the Odyssey. We just talked about the Odyssey for like 2 hours yesterday.
Uh-huh.
I
It's all connected.
was a little
I know.
confused. Was a little confused why her name is Cersei.
Something about the
The-
pigs. They had a line about like something about
Yeah,
you know,
she's
men are
like, do you
pigs.
do you turn men into pigs? And she says, most men you don't have to try very hard.
right.
Probably because the Matrix had Morpheus.
Also, yeah, and also, what's his name? The bad guy, Bosco. He has like an eye patch. He's supposed to be the Cyclops, and I don't know.
Oh,
Well,
I didn't even think about that.
We'll dive into that later, but yeah. This episode,
we'll have
was
to-
like this episode 9 was like Romeo and Juliet meets what?
For a few dollars more.
Hatfields.
Yeah,
and
a few
McCoy.
dollars more, right? Okay.
Yeah, I think they were going more for Romeo and Juliet. There did seem to be a lot. I mean, I think the episodes in general are trying really hard to like be tributes to more classic things.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that's something that we stopped doing recently, like in the last 20 years. Is like, in the 90s and before that, great writers of movies would reference, famous books and paintings and music pieces. Now, movies just reference other movies.
and
that's
and
it.
usually
Tropes.
it's in a very parody kind of way.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is too, like today with so many like IPs being thrown around everywhere, like these IPs have been around so long that they're just self-referential at this point. Remember that good movie we did 35 years ago?
Or the Doomsday trailer. Everyone's talking about it. I watched it. I'm like, it felt sad. It was just like, hey, we tried some other things, but let's do the thing that you liked 10 years ago again. How about that?
Yeah,
And what was with that Borat accent at the beginning? Oh my lord!
I don't know. Is that
that was Robert Downey Jr.
I know.
I have
Oh,
not
really?
I
Yeah.
have not had a chance to watch the
Go
You'll
to
be laughing.
trailer
America.
yet, so I've not had a
Okay.
chance to watch the trailer.
I'll
so
be
don't
I'll be
spoil it
right
for me.
back. I just realized I left my car doors open. Had
Oh, that's
had,
important.
had to have the upholstery steam cleaned today. Be right back.
Cool. He's got like a family of feral raccoons living in his car all of a sudden.
Yeah.
This kid, I wasn't sure what the point of this was.
Oh, there's a
Other
soccer
than the
ball.
fact-
It all came back around again.
Other than the fact that the kid sees the thing handcuffed to him, is scared, and runs off. Is it supposed to like make us feel for the people that are about to get blown up? Is that the idea?
Yeah, that's
I guess.
kind of the only thing it's there for, and especially he's a young kid, so it's going to
Oh,
make you
it's-
feel a bit more. But I don't know.
It's that
This whole
whole
thing just seems so unnecessary and out of place.
Yeah, I didn't mind the startup, but the kid with the soccer ball just seemed like a cheap attempt to tug at heartstrings. Um, and
Yeah.
maybe we're supposed to feel bad for the guy with the bomb because he really does look like torn and traumatized and sad about all of this.
Yeah.
The other thing is that it says it went online at noon and then 4 hours later the bomb goes off, but his watch is ticking down to noon. Is there like a time zone thing? Like Harsh Realm is 4 hours behind the rest of New York?
I don't know if it's in California. No.
I
But
mean,
he looks-
like here's the thing. It's one of those cool things to think about, but it really could just be a mistake. And like the times were supposed to line up, and they're like, it's an oopsie.
It could be, but it's hard to know with Carter as to which is which. I do also want to say that I think in the, let's see, how many minutes has he been on here? In the 3 minutes and 11 seconds this guy has been on without a single line, he's a better actor than the guy who plays Hobbs for 9 episodes.
Yes.
I mean, I think he has like a line of dialogue. He got paid.
Oh, he has, that's right, he talks to the priest with like one line. But his facial acting is so much better than almost everyone else in this show.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can imagine what they gave him. Okay, you're a guy with a bomb handcuffed to his wrist, and he can't do anything about it. And he probably just rolled with it.
But I think that in 3 minutes he did a better job than Hobbs has done this whole time.
But they're real people. They're real.
And I don't know, this whole hand thing. Are nothing about this, like the first time I ever watched this, I thought it was supposed to be the guy who set the bomb off, and I was like, what the hell?
The priest was shielded by all the rubble that fell onto him.
There's like nothing practical that suggests that this should be the priest at all. Even in hindsight, like once you see him after the fact, even in hindsight, there's nothing that like makes that make sense.
He survives by the hand of God, man.
I mean, was he in the basement? Was he in the subway? I don't know. It's weird.
I don't know.
Yo, I guess
I mean,
those
I don't-
church confessionals do a great job at protecting you. Like, I don't know what they're built out
They
of,
must be
but
lead lined. Like Indiana Jones, the icebox.
I mean, I don't have an issue with the fact, I mean, considering that the whole idea is supposed to be like something weird happened here, I don't really have an issue with the fact that they have him surviving. It just, the way they did this is just, it was a choice, it was a choice.
What kind of bomb was it? Was it a dirty nuke?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a nuclear bomb.
Okay. I'm just
well, not for
Big
nothing.
yield on that
Considering
would not be
considering
as
he was
big.
that close to a nuke, I know they put some makeup on him to make him look all scarred up and deformed, but not enough. Like when you think about it.
I mean, there isn't enough. There is no way they could convincingly have like given the impression, hey, this guy was in the middle of a nuke.
I know, but at best you think he got caught in a house fire. Like half of his face is burnt and his arm's a bit messed up.
Okay,
that's
That's true. It
I was-
doesn't even seem like they tried very hard.
I was listening while I was outside putting my car back together, but it didn't start at noon. I don't remember when they said it started, but it was 4 hours later that the bomb went off at noon. Also, Hand of God, no, Manos Domini was last week. Sorry,
guess I
couldn't
would-
resist.
I guess
But
that would
also,
be.
I got you.
but also, this was a full nuke. A dirty bomb would simply have been a conventional bomb that had radioactive
right,
material
okay.
that it spread around,
Right.
and no one would have survived that close to a nuke.
No.
Well, I mean, the whole point is supposed to be that there's no way that this guy should have survived either. He like,
No, no one could have.
but he was a miracle. That's how we
Oh,
write all
unless
The
he was
miracle of
directly-
plot armor.
He was directly underneath where the tear in the matrix happened, and it protected him.
Well, that's supposed to be the idea. Yeah, that's.
I
think
guess
they're fairly-
that's how he could have survived.
I think they're fairly clear about that, but it's. I don't know. Like I said, I don't mind that they did it. I mind how they did it.
Well,
Yes,
here's my problem with that, right? Like we see him stick his hand out of the rubble. So if he was right under the rift, wouldn't we have seen the rift above him?
I think
Like
that's
we don't
supposed to
see
be-
that at all.
I think that's supposed to be the blue
right.
light, isn't it? Like
Was I-
right. Let's see. Back up. Right there.
Yeah, but it seems like the rift is forming. Like the white light seems to start to appear then and there, as if it happens after the nuke went off and
Yeah,
after
so-
he should already be dead.
Yeah, so there's no way he
Unless
should be
it
alive.
is, unless it is also under the rubble.
Mm.
That is the only even slight
So,
head
are we
canon I could
back?
give it.
It says it's the bomb or went online October 13th, but doesn't say when the bomb went off. Or I didn't hear when the.
Well, I mean, we see his watch, so we know that
Yeah.
that's. We've got that at least, but. Anyway, we've gone from Ohio to New Jersey in one episode. For a place that's supposed to be really hard to find gas, apparently Pinocchio's really good at it. I feel like. Anybody know what the gas mileage is on one of those muscle cars he's driving?
10 miles a gallon.
Wow. I mean, my truck gets about that, so.
Yeah.
And my truck's a monster. It's like driving a tank.
That's without the supercharger turned on. If he has one on it.
Hey, Rachel. Sorry, I just realized you popped in. I think I was busy trying to, like, shuffle back and forth between screens here. I don't think we ever... Do we know? I think that's part of one of the things that bugs me about this. I have no idea why they keep moving around from place to place like this. They don't appear to actually have any goal. It's like we
Well-
have to find Santiago and kill him. But then we're in completely random spots, even though we know where his headquarters are.
Yeah, it's like one of my biggest issues with this episode is that it just feels like it completely kills the momentum from last week's episode. Like you thought you got Santiago in Ohio, and you found out that you didn't get him. Wouldn't you maybe want to check to figure out where the fuck he is? Like maybe back in Ohio?
I don't know. It does feel. I mean, it's not just this episode. Like they've been in different places all over the place. I mean, we've been told Santiago controls 5 states. I start out thinking I know which 5 states those are, and then it turns out, oh no, now we're invading Ohio, which can't possibly be near those states. Anybody know cars? Rachel wants to know what he's driving.
I can look it up real quick.
I think it's a Dodge of some sort, based on the. Interesting thing is, I think both of the heads of families, which are kind of tertiary characters in this, are bigger actors than.
Yeah. This episode takes place in Trenton, New Jersey, because it should have been episodes 2 or 3.
Was it actually supposed to be? I mean,
It almost certainly had to be because we were just in Cincinnati. Now we're in Trenton, which is where they were close to in the early like 2 episodes. And
well,
next week and the next episode is in Cleveland.
well, it can have been. So the first 3 episodes were created and shown as they were supposed to be. It was after that that Sci-Fi just started
Hmm.
like sprinkling them in whatever order.
Yeah, this
I
one should have
think
been much earlier.
I think the order that we're given is the order they were created in, not necessarily the order that they were supposed to be shown in.
Yeah,
The
because I oh sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say it does occur to me that so in the 90s there were normally 22 to 24 episodes and there was normally like a mid-season finale.
Hmm.
So it's possible that this was supposed to be the mid-season premiere. And that would explain why they had all the explanation. Hey, you've been gone all summer watching reruns. Here's your reminder as to what was happening.
Oh, because when you look at where they were in Manos Domini, they were in Western Maryland. Then, if we accept the idea that Cincinnati should have been the end, and this one should have been the penultimate episode, we go from Maryland to Cleveland, which is on the east side of Ohio, closer to Maryland, and then to Cincinnati, which is on the west side of Ohio.
But the startup doesn't make any sense. Having a startup 9 episodes in that tells us, hey, here's everything that you've spent the last 9 episodes watching.
Right. Right, that's what I mean. It should have been an earlier episode. So this one is out of place.
Right, but
And 8 and 10 got swapped.
but if it's episode 4, that makes even less sense. Because you've already had the introduction 3 episodes ago instead of 8
And
episodes ago.
why did they even write this episode? This episode makes no sense then.
Well, here's the thing, right? I've come to the conclusion, with the exception of 4 episodes, this entire show is filler. No, half of these episodes don't need to or simply shouldn't exist. And like one of the big things that we've talked about is how the show would do better today, in the sense that like the general public has a better understanding of computers and virtual reality. But the other thing I think we need to take into consideration is that seasons are shorter now. I don't think this show was really built or is for like a 22 episode season, because I feel like we get a cool episode with Santiago, then we fuck off for 3 episodes, then we get a taste of we start to get back to the main story, and then we just drift off all over again. I think
I disagree. I feel like the fact that there are so many filler episodes means it absolutely was intended for 24.
no,
Because
but I'm
look
saying
at
like the type of story it is. Like I obviously at the time they were going for 22 to 24 because that's what television seasons were at the time. But I'm saying like the type of show and the story they're telling would be better with a shorter season. You could still have a couple episodes here and there that don't have to do with Santiago, but maybe explore glitches or oddities within the VR. But like the type of story they're telling is made for maybe 12 episode seasons, because when they're trying to stretch it out to a 24 episode season, once again, we get a little bit of Santiago, Terry O'Quinn steals the show, and then we just completely ignore him for 2 to 3 episodes. Like
maybe he had recording
season.
conflicts.
But either way, like my point is that if this was redone today, I think a 12 episode season would be perfect.
Oh, I don't disagree with that at all. But what I'm saying is that considering when it was created, I mean, look at the first season of the X-Files. There are so many episodes in the first season, maybe even the first 2 seasons, they're just Monster of the Week episodes. They're just filler episodes.
But they were better than this one's Monster of the Week episodes.
Well, they were shown in the correct order. So,
Which
and we got
helps
to
a lot.
see all of them. I think those 2 things make a huge difference.
Yeah. It's funny though.
Hey,
I
Hasta.
remember this show being better than I'm seeing it now.
So the interesting thing is, I don't think I saw it in this order when I saw it the first time.
I don't remember.
I don't
what
remember
I saw
what
it in.
order I did see it,
Yeah.
but I think it made more sense in whatever order I did see it.
I mean, I remember telling people it's a great show. Sorry you never got to see it.
Yeah, I've never thought it was a great show. I thought it was a show that if you remade it today would have a tremendous amount of potential.
Hmm.
Um,
Kind of
'Cause,
like
I mean, there are-
Prophet.
it has really good, like, as if we were talking about real estate here. It has really good bones,
I don't know
but
if you ever, I
the
don't know if you ever saw
follow,
the.
but the follow through and the messing, the bouncing between production companies and distribution companies and getting chopped off. Like, I don't know who decided that this was a good spot to chop. Like, you couldn't last one more week so that it ended on a reasonable note.
Yeah, really.
Hey, is Stupendo with us? He looks like he's having connection issues.
Am I? Hello?
Yeah, I think
Well,
he's gone.
okay, no, I can hear you fine. I just wanted to check because you've got a big red exclamation point on my end.
What the hell does that mean?
Means you've got connection issues.
I don't know if any of you ever saw the Adrian Pastar show Prophet, but that was a show that came out long before it should have. It was very much like The Sopranos, but like 10 or 12 years before The Sopranos even showed up. Very dark show, very brilliant plot, excellent casting, excellent acting, but just so disturbing.
I like disturbing. Actually,
I
I
like the
think
show.
part of the issue with this show is it's not disturbing enough.
Mm.
I think that the theory behind it should be really disturbing, but Hobbs is so busy making everything like Boy Scouty,
Yeah.
that I think it gets in its own way that way. But anyway, so we have this guy who shows up. He offers to pay Pinocchio in gold to come bodyguard him from his rival. Which always brings me back to one of my favorite questions, which is why the hell is gold valuable in the first place?
Yeah.
Especially in this day and age where like money has totally ceased to be a thing, but gold is still a big deal. But
When was it
five
just-
gold, 5 gold apiece, he says, will buy you 5 men. I don't know what period of time.
I
That's
think
supposed to be,
I think
but-
he was holding up the 1 gold piece and saying, "This will buy you 5 men."
When he says I'll give you 5 gold apiece, and Pinocchio says this is enough to get me out of here, Hobbs says I'm not here to be a mercenary, I'm here to find men. Pinocchio says, and that gold will buy you 5 men.
No, he literally holds up 1 piece of gold and says, "This will get you 5 men."
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but like that still doesn't tell us anything. My point was like, okay, 5 men for like why and for how long?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Why gold is shiny. When you have lots of wealth, I can see why shiny is interesting. When you're struggling to feed yourself, good luck eating it.
Yeah. Yeah, if money has no point, then why the heck would gold? Although gold has always been a major
Oh, yeah,
thing with humans.
Yeah, historically, and it doesn't matter where in the world you are, gold has always had value.
It's because
And
the
it's always
Anunnaki
been
who made us build the alien pyramids here on Earth, they need gold to fortify their ozone. That's why their atmosphere.
That was the Goa'uld.
Yeah, right.
I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens.
Ancient aliens. That's why we harvest gold, because they want it.
I have heard, I have no idea if this is actually true or not, but I have heard that gold can act as a hallucinogen.
Huh?
And that
Sick.
I'm gonna start investing in gold. Holy shit!
By the way,
Then
something-
again,
something I read about the 1972 Chappelle, Rust
Yeah.
Brown. I don't think it's going to do good in this acid rain.
Oh Lord, especially
mean-
the way they portray acid rain. I'm like, oh dear God.
Oh, it burns.
yeah,
so,
it's like a 6-year-old's idea of what acid rain is.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Or it's
So,
like in the 80s when the environmentalists were thinking what acid rain was going to be like.
You know the reappearing, disappearing dog?
Yeah.
The car lives in that same, weird ass
Universe.
bubble.
Yeah. It's Schrodinger's car, and Schrodinger's dog.
Also,
I
isn't what's her name? She's not in this episode, is she?
was just gonna say,
Barely?
where the hell is Florence?
Florence is not here.
So
She
Well,
that was
just
the thing-
doesn't exist.
I told
That's
you I
what-
watched episode 9 early. I thought, oh, did Florence die in the last episode? And that's what I missed. Is that like the big cliffhanger at the end of the Santiago arc? No, she just taps out in this episode, and she's back in the scripted next one.
Yeah,
that's
it's
why-
one of those things. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that's why ending on this, one of the reasons that ending on this episode makes absolutely no sense, because they are so focused on her just like 2 episodes ago, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden she's just gone.
Yeah.
So Miss Sparkle
that's-
says acid could be fun.
Could be.
But that's why we say this episode, because of how everything is paced out, should have been, if you take out the stupid here's what you need to know exposition, it belongs way earlier in the show. Like, when did Florence first show up? Was she in the first episode?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe
She
so.
heals- She heals Hobbs right
shot
after that.
and heals her.
It's
That's right, that-
see here's the problem. I think it really comes down to they needed Hobbs and Pinocchio because they needed one to end up on one side, one to end up on the other side, and having Florence there would complicate things for the script, so we just pretend she doesn't exist. I'm sorry, but like that's what it comes down to, and it just seems a bit lazy.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
She just
Hey, oh.
sensed she sensed something and ran off.
Well, the funny thing is that if you look at the lifestyle that both of the families live with the, very trad wife thing going on, all they had to do was throw in one line about the woman's not welcome. Because all you got to do is have like the guy who's doing the hiring be, overly macho and he wants men only. Like
You
one
know what I
line would have done it.
realized? You could be thinking of gold cap mushrooms, goat, being a hallucinogen.
Actually, I think the logic was that gold is a heavy metal and will poison you, but in the final stages of poisoning.
Except people drinking Goldschlager have never had to suffer any such effects.
Well, it's because they
Goldschlager
die of
has
the
20.
they die of the
I remember
DTs
Goldschlager.
first.
Goldschlager, for those who don't know, has tiny flakes of 24 karat gold floating in the
Yep.
cinnamon liqueur.
That was
Yeah,
our
it's a
that was
it's a
our
terrible idea.
generation's fireball.
Yeah, it's a terrible idea because gold is a heavy metal.
But it
It's
does
like-
pass through your
it's
body.
like-
It's an inert metal.
It's like we'll drink tiny amounts of arsenic because it looks cool in the bottle.
But gold doesn't react with things. It's inert.
Let's just get back on the episode before we end up in another 20-minute discussion.
Fair enough.
All right, so he goes into New York City where no one goes, not even Santiago's people. What's interesting is, isn't Santiago actually based in New York City? Didn't we? Oh yeah, he's handing out like here are little tags to let you know if you're dying of radiation poisoning. What's crazy is that the
Where do you get those
radiation
tags?
the radiation
Do they
levels
just sell
should be
those on the
so
black market?
high anyway.
I just want to
Yeah,
know.
those
Do they sell those on the black market?
those tags are basically like a binary dosimeter. Have you
Yeah.
received radiation? Have you not? Oh, you have. Okay. Well, how much? We don't know, but you received radiation. Great. That helps.
You got an X-ray.
Yeah.
Well, so one of the things that I find weird too is that in this episode they talk about how like New York City is like this no one goes there. It's a shithole. It's been nuked to hell. But in the previous episode, the Indians were like, "Hey, we want New York." Like, do they not know that it's a nuked out shithole?
Well, but that's what I'm saying is apparently it's this very tiny portion of New York because I'm pretty sure that Santiago's base is in New York.
Isn't
I
it
think-
Jersey? It might. I thought it was Jersey, but
I thought it was Jersey.
whatever.
Either way, the whole world has gone to hell because of a bomb that was small enough that it didn't even like radiate Jersey from New York. So it's like regular New York then. But yeah, it's like the entire United States has totally broken down because of what apparently was a very, very tiny bomb.
Okay, I'm about to put myself on a bunch of lists right now, but I've got to Google and see what it would do. What would a suitcase nuke in New York?
That is definitely going to get you on a lot of lists.
I know.
It was nice knowing you, pal.
Gonna be some
Actually,
knocking on my door
what
in
I
a
meant to say is I don't know this man at all.
second. You
He's
don't.
dragged
You say
off.
you
mid-
only-
he's
you only know
dragged
me
off
as Dutch
midstream.
Gradient.
I don't know any Dutch
You only know
terrorists.
me
Okay.
as Dutch Gradient. You don't know who I am. You don't know me, man. According to AI, I will be visited by FBI agents very soon. No, I'm kidding. It would depend on the location, specific location of the event, and prevailing weather conditions. A low yield detonation in a metropolitan area like New York City creates hazards through both immediate physical effects and longer term environmental impacts. The potential impact on New Jersey can be understood through atmospheric conditions, proximity and topography, and geography. So, yeah, it might. Then again, it might not. Who knows?
Oh,
But New Jersey is a long state.
I wasn't saying that it
Yeah.
wouldn't. I wasn't saying that it wouldn't leave New Jersey untouched. I'm saying why would the entire country break down because of New York?
New York is a major center of trade and communication and diplomacy, and it's like, I mean, there's a reason why Chicago is called Second City, because New York is the first.
I mean, we do live in a country where people had a total meltdown over, a loss of toilet paper. So,
We live in a country where the economy nearly collapsed after 9/11, and that was just the World Trade Center and the Pentagon.
I live in a broke rural state. We saw absolutely no difference whatsoever.
The planes stopped flying. That's what got me.
My
I mean, there was
my
no
Yeah, that was
plane in
weird.
the sky.
my grandmother lived through the Great Depression, and she used to say that they were so broke that they didn't even notice there was a depression. Like nothing changed. She's like, we ate a few more potatoes. That was about it. People showed up. looking
Great
for work.
normalcy.
A lot of people showed up looking for work. That was it. Hello, squishy banana. So they
Ew,
get
squishy banana. Ew.
to this place that is remarkably intact for an area that's supposed to be ground zero. And this guy's daughter has apparently gone missing. Everybody's freaking out.
As soon, I'll wait till I get to that point. Sorry.
Where do you want me to start?
No, you're good. I'll wait till it gets to that part.
This episode was also super dark
Yeah.
in a lot
Yeah.
of places.
Obnoxiously dark.
So Pinocchio and the family head run into this kid in the tunnels. The guy immediately wants to shoot him. Pinocchio's like, he's just a kid. What are you doing?
I immediately thought, oh, they're gonna pull this trope. Right. He doesn't know where the girl is. No, he doesn't. No. He's Romeo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I mean they're not subtle about it.
No.
What I did find interesting is that Pinocchio is such a dink about everything for the rest of this, and yet is like so sympathetic to Romeo here.
It's the it's the gold, man. It's the dragon sickness. It gets to him over time.
I mean, it reacts pretty quick considering that he wants to risk radiation poisoning
Yeah.
for 5 gold
Does
pieces.
dragon sickness cause your teeth and hair to fall out?
Blisters,
My-
organ failure, and
I don't
The
know,
other
man.
thing is
Apparently,
that-
Thorin Oakenshield still had
I
a pretty
mean-
big beard.
The other thing is that this
The
guy
gold,
is like
the one
totally.
ring is
Go
gold.
ahead.
It might be radioactive. That's why Gollum looks the way he does.
He's totally willing to shoot this kid, but Pinocchio just gets up and walks off with him, and he doesn't threaten him or anything. He's just,
yeah, this is Hobbs. Sorry, this is Pinocchio acting totally out of character, caring for a VC and protecting him and walking off with him.
Well, but what I'm saying is that the father also is not making any sense. Though in the grand scheme of things, I think this guy does tend to seem more reasonable than his counterpart.
Yeah, I found it interesting that they're in a Con Ed building. Consolidated Edison is the company that's been running power for New York City for decades.
So for some reason, I don't remember why Hobbs doesn't go with them.
Because Hobbs was busy doing something else. I can't remember what.
Well, no,
and he
the,
tries to
I-
find the girl.
I believe the head of the family said, like, Pinocchio, you come with me. Hobbs, you stay with, like, the rest of, like, his wife and the rest of the people that were there.
That's it. He was there to protect them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he does a terrible job of that, but he does find the girl. He hears a sound, so he pulls a gun on it.
And he keeps the gun on her way too damn long when it's obviously a kid. Dude, take your gun off the kid who has her hands up.
Yeah, I don't understand what the whole point of the hat was supposed to be here either.
Because you couldn't tell at this point if it was a boy or a girl except by the slenderness of the fingers.
Okay, so we
Well,
understand
no,
why
plus
from
I'm sorry. I thought the entire idea was that she was sneaking off to see her, her Romeo, and
Mhm.
if she didn't want to get caught. It's basically a disguise. Like it's a shitty disguise, but at least she put a hat on.
it's a disguise for the whole 4 people she lives with who are still gonna immediately know who she is.
She tried. She's young and stupid. I don't know.
You know what?
Come on.
You know what? She's doing a better job of disguising herself than Jason Bourne ever did in any of the movies.
But then the whole I'm just gonna pull your hat off thing while training a gun on you. Why not just say, hey, take your hat off?
He had taken the gun off her by that point. Although she still kept her hands up. It's like the gun's not on you anymore. You can put your hands down, girl.
It's still out.
rightly-
It isn't too hard to.
Yeah, and he rightly guesses that she is the girl who's been missing, because of course there's only one girl down there.
Yeah,
One girl
all I
per
could-
episode. That's the rule.
Yep.
All I could think of is that there's Romeo and there's Juliet here, and in Armageddon there's a scene where he's trying to
Tyler?
convince the daughter is trying to convince Bruce Willis that she's in love with Ben Affleck,
Hmm.
and he says he's the only guy here who's remotely your age. That's not love; it's a lack of options. That was all I could think of with this. You're only Romeo and Juliet because you have no other options.
Yeah, and honestly, Willis was not wrong.
No.
Yeah, I always thought at the end of Armageddon, I was like, oh, that marriage is doomed because every fight they ever have is going to end with, you let my father die. It was supposed to be you.
Yeah, but you can't blame him. He had space dementia. God, that movie sucked on so many levels.
Yeah, so then she decides to take this guy that she's never met before and explain to him that she's been seeing in secret the son of the enemy. She has absolutely no reason to think that he's not gonna report her to her parents,
Well, no, I
considering that
mean,
they're paying him.
Are we still where she's come out of? No, are we still where she's come out of the little hole?
No,
She
they're
doesn't, because she doesn't explain it then. And when her mother shows up, he's like, she says, "Where have you been?" And you can tell she doesn't know what to lie. And Hobbs lies for her and says, "I found her. She was asleep back over there." So that's where it tells her she can trust him to keep a secret.
it doesn't make any sense though. I mean, Hobbs knows. It would make sense for Hobbs to lie if Hobbs knew. It doesn't make sense for Hobbs to lie otherwise.
But he didn't know anything other than she didn't want anyone to know what was in the hole.
As your GM says, New York kids are shanky. Yeah, so this is the guy who believes you can tell the measure of a man across the barrel of a gun. He seems much less rational than his counterpart.
Yeah. I mean, as soon as Pinocchio walks in, he's got a gun on him. It's like, "Who are you? What are you doing here? Why are you here?"
Well, I mean, that actually is the one action that makes total sense. There are less than a dozen people in this entire area between these two families and a priest. And here's this total stranger who comes walking in with his son. What doesn't make sense is that Pinocchio's like, "Oh yeah, I totally got hired by your counterpart." And this guy immediately is like, "Hey, I'll pay you more." Instead of like, "Oh, I'll just shoot you because you're right here." Like, Pinocchio should have been shot by both guys. Easily.
Yeah, but this is where it becomes for a few gold more.
Yeah.
Yeah, we go from... Yeah, he's like, "So how much is he paying you?" 15 gold. Which, of course, is total bullshit. He's like, "I'll pay you 20. He's like, "Nice knowing you. 25. But, like, why?
Oh, so he could be the last man standing.
But...
Come on, no one got that reference?
I'm saying it doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. But it's because it's in the script right there. It says he'll pay him 25 now.
The only thing I can think of is that it's more about winning and showing up the other side than anything else.
Yeah.
I want to prove that I can hire your guy away, that I'm richer.
But it was also a chance for Pinocchio to be clever, to be like, he was only being paid 10. He tells this guy, he was paying me 15. I'll pay you 20. Nope, see you. 25. Okay. And there's that little smile Pinocchio gives. Like, gotcha.
Right, but Pinocchio's actions make sense. The families do not. But I mean, I guess the whole point is supposed to be that the family's completely irrational anyway.
Yeah. It's just hilarious that the one's in the Federal Reserve and the other's in the Con Ed building. Which I'm pretty sure there is no Con Ed building across the street from the Federal Reserve. Especially not a power plant.
Yeah.
And yet, in this world, there is. Because reasons.
Are they across the road from each other?
Yeah, they're literally across the street from each other.
They travel by tunnels so much that I think that does make it a little vaguer and...
Well, that's to avoid the acid rain. And the street radiation, which apparently has not gotten down to the tunnels, except for the deepest tunnel that leads to the gold. Because that makes sense. What?
I mean, radiation apparently has, does what plot needs it to in this.
Yeah.
Apparently it made him stupid,
Boy,
too.
does it ever.
Apparently it makes you stupid, too.
Yeah, that was really interesting.
I mean, I feel like they were already stupid.
He didn't have space madness, he had radiation madness.
We talking about the characters or the writers at this point?
Yes, I am.
So then we meet the priest. Apparently the families both go to him for advice. He's not looking too pretty these days.
honestly, it took me a second to realize that that was actually the priest. I was like, was that the guy with the bomb, or was that the priest? Then I realized later on, okay, it was the priest.
Yeah. It took me a minute to make that connection that he was from the beginning too.
Which,
Because I mean,
like,
you just assume that everyone died. You know?
but here's the thing. Once again, considering this man basically took a nuke to the face, I don't think he looks that bad.
Not exactly.
Honestly, he looks great for a guy who was at ground zero of a nuke going off. Jesus.
We only had the budget to do up half your face with makeup. Sorry, pal.
Well, it may be one of those things like, when you're dressing up aliens and if you got too much paint, like their skin starts to hurt.
Okay,
Maybe
hang
like-
on. No, go on. I'm didn't mean to cut you off. But you're done.
I was going to say maybe there's some benefit to having half your face allowed to breathe.
No, I now that I think about it, the bomb that goes off in the beginning is a ground level bomb. Bombs that go off as an airburst do far more damage to ground zero
Yeah.
than one that goes off at ground level. It may be there was enough between the bomb and the church. He might have possibly, under all the rubble, not been incinerated, but still,
Well,
the
but
ground
he's apparently
zero
the only
radiation.
person. He's apparently the only person who's not incinerated.
Yeah, but also the ground zero radiation would have just destroyed him within weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, 4 million people died instantaneously,
Yeah.
but he's fine.
Well, sure. He had rubble.
That I did consider your point though about the airborne thing. I've been rewatching Heroes, and I've decided I need to do a Heroes alpha comparison video, just to add to the already long list of things I need
I
to
look
get
forward
done.
to seeing that.
Well, so I'm not okay. This is spoilers, but man, it's been long enough that if you haven't seen it by now, too bad. The end of the episode, Peter is like starting to explode in a nuclear blast,
Hmm.
and his brother picks him up and carries him into the atmosphere.
Yeah, and I was like, bad idea.
And I'm like, yeah, because that would help. We didn't destroy New York City, but man, cancer rates have gone up for some reason.
Yeah, his brother was played by Adrian Pastar, who was the star of Prophet, which, by the way, was 3 years before this show, and was also canceled by Fox. Way to go, Fox.
The show that the station where shows go to die.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mantis, too. Wow.
So this is where the head of the family comes back without Pinocchio and then just lies through his teeth saying that the other family got the jump on them and kidnapped him or
Yep.
whatever. Jesus.
Again, he's not only the more reasonable, he's the cleverer of the two.
Okay, real quick. I have a bunch of D&D miniatures. 3 of my miniatures are ogres. Had to glue the arms that hold the clubs on each one, and they kind of pivot, so you could have them holding them at different angles. Well, I realized if you pivoted it like 180 degrees, it could look like an ogre was trying to hide the club behind its back. Problem is, the club sticks out like 10 feet over past its side, so it's not fooling anyone.
Dutch, does this have anything to do with what we're talking about?
Has to do with being clever.
Okay.
Has to do with being clever. So I made one of them like that. Yeah, their hands were like forward, sideways. Cut the hand off, turned it to the side, bent all the fingers back except for the index finger. So he looks like he's going, "Come here, it's okay, I won't hurt you." He's the clever one.
I mean,
That's how clever I think this guy is.
he fools Hobbs. Not that that's terribly
Okay,
difficult. Not that that's terribly difficult, but so yeah, he convinces Hobbs that he has to like lead a battle, and apparently the priest has like already given him a plan.
Yeah.
I have a plan. No, we need a plan of attack. I have a plan. Attack.
Except then this guy, except the priest then gives the plan of attack to the other family as well. This kid wants to know what kind of gun it is. He apparently has never killed anybody. He says, "My father." This is where we hear the "my father says you can tell the measure of a man across the barrel of a gun." He says, "What's it like to kill someone?" Pinocchio says, "Hope you never have to find out," which also seems very un-Pinocchio-like. Pinocchio is
The
also
thing is, Pinocchio does actually tell him exactly what the gun is, an MP5K, and that is the exact weapon he is carrying.
yeah, good. They got something accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he says, your friend Hobbs is going to lead them here. Pinocchio's like, yeah, he would never do that. And he's like, yeah, because here's his plan of attack, like as proof that he is in fact going to attack.
And then Pinocchio says something really, really strange. He's like, "All right, well, I'm out. I am not going to try to fight Hobbs." Like he sounded like he was afraid of fighting Hobbs.
He's
I
trying to
think
get more money.
I mean, that might be. I think it's
maybe.
more that. I think it's more that he doesn't have any stake in these people. He doesn't care if they kill each other. But he knows Hobbs. He's traveled with Hobbs. There's a certain amount of interdependence and survival.
I think Jacob has it right because he plays it off like he's terrified of fighting Hobbs, and then the guy offers him double the gold, and then he's like, "All right, I'll do it."
Yeah,
I think
I was
Jacob's
gonna
right.
say
There's a play.
I thought it was almost a bit of overacting on DB Sweeney's part, but that makes a lot of sense.
I took the overacting as part of the show.
There
I
are a
think
lot
Jacob
of
is right.
lanterns.
Yeah, I know.
This just occurred to me. You were talking about, the radiation tabs and
Yeah,
do
where
they
you get all
do
the-
they just sell those everywhere?
Yeah.
In your entire life, how many oil lamps do you know of, like, that you could immediately get your hands
Yeah.
on?
3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have
about
3.
that.
I
It's the same thing with
have
the-
3. I have 3 in
It's
my
the same
house.
thing with all those candles in the barn. Like typically, like you're not even allowed to smoke in a barn.
Yeah.
But we'll just like light dozens of candles. Like that's annoying. It's the same thing when you see like those, like it's kind of like those big monastery churches with like the hundreds of candles, and like it's someone's job to light all those candles, and it takes a couple hours, and you need like this big long tool to do it.
Here's
And
here's the thing. It doesn't take much to create an oil lamp. The only problem would be having
Where's the oil
glass
coming from?
that's the other question. But the problem would be having the glass shield to protect it from wind. But these are underground. They probably don't even have glass shields. So all you
But
need
no, they
is
do. You can see them in the. I mean,
do they
one
have
of them
glass? Okay, so that's silly.
one of them
They
is
did-
leaning oddly against the wall because the glass is touching the wall.
See, that's a problem because if they didn't have glass, then all you need is just the frame, the bucket, a little wheel for the wick, and just light it. It'll take care of itself for hours.
But this is New York City, where they don't lose power nearly as often as we do here.
This is true.
I very seriously doubt that, even if they raided every apartment building in the surrounding, 6 blocks, where did all the lanterns come from?
I know.
Hobby Lobby.
This really does it really is silly.
Well,
Especially
whoever
when this
They
is
just-
a friggin' power plant. They could
They
just
went to a Hobby Lobby.
they could crank up like one reactor partially and redirect all the power to this one tunnel to give it light. I don't know, something.
Well, the whole point is that one of them controls the power and doesn't want the other one. And the other one, I think, controls the tunnels.
So why would either of them keep lanterns burning down here? Because the cameras need to show the people.
Does this feel a little bit like a Twilight vibe to you?
Because
this-
of his hair,
this
a
shot-
lean.
Hello,
in the
honey, I'm a
sense that
son, and
it's
hello, Mr. Hunter.
in the sense that it's like a teen romance nonsense that has really poor acting, then yeah, like I don't know. It's just
even their facial features. Like he looks pale. He's got that like emo scowly look to him.
I mean, aren't they basically living like underground though, or like in tunnels and stuff? They can't go outside because of the acid rain. It kind of checks out.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying this particular shot, I swear, if I actually cared to watch Twilight, I could probably find this exact pose somewhere in the movies.
I'm
it's
sure
not-
you're
because,
right.
Yeah.
because of his height, his hair, and yeah, it really does have a Twilight vibe.
Well, and hers, the long dark hair, the staring at him while he's looking at something else. But anyway, this is the like we're star-crossed lovers. You can't.
But as soon as they leave, she's like, "Oh, there's another one. He's better looking than this guy I've got."
But yeah, this is the whole like star-crossed lovers thing, and they both find out that they both have copies of this plan. So they're like, well, only one place that came from. Let's go check out the priest.
Well, the thing is too is that the plans that the priest handed to the one head of the family was much older. Like the paper was clearly like crumbled up a bit, looked like it had yellowed. So it's like, how does he have these battle plans before Hobbs had ever even fully written them out himself?
Yep. But he says like you're gonna get everybody killed, and he says no, I'm trying to stop the slaughter from happening. You need to wait until exactly 4:17 to let this happen.
Which is kind of clever of him. Kinda.
Well, he really doesn't want them to die, because the whole point is he doesn't want to be left alone.
Yeah. But no, but my point being, very clever of him because he knows that the acid will start falling, not acid rain, acid will start falling exactly at that point.
Except they get impatient, and so they ignore orders, and they run in and start
They?
guns blazing.
They get impatient? This jerk with the perm is the one who gets impatient.
Yeah, but everyone else follows him immediately, despite being
Well, he's the
told.
leader.
They've said they were going to follow Hobbs. They have made Hobbs the leader, and then they all ignore him.
I know. Remember, Hobbs is the new guy. They've known perm guy for forever.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
that the young teen he's so scared he didn't even take the safety off of his weapon. He's just sweating bullets.
If only. Man, imagine how much that'd be worth.
Well, I mean, he doesn't want to fight in the first place. So, gun battle. I'm not sure anybody even gets hit, because I think they're all stormtroopers.
No.
I
think one guy gets hit, but
one
does not
guy gets hit
die.
in the yeah, he gets tagged in the shoulder, I believe.
Yeah, it's amazing
Yes.
how many
The Hollywood method of getting shot, but really you're fine.
Yeah, it's amazing how many non-lethal gunshots are in this episode.
Well, I gotta say, and it was one of my criticisms of all the Chris Nolan movies. It could be the opposite, where like, you just touch someone lightly and they die instantly. Like you put someone in a headlock and they fall asleep immediately. You shoot them once with like a tiny bullet and they just die immediately. Like that's the other movie trope, like people dying too easily, and then the other trope is people just not dying at all or getting hurt or wounded.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of rewatching Stargate SG-1 right now. I'm in season 5. A guy has a gun on one of the heroes, and O'Neill comes up from behind him and just smacks him on the back of the head with a pistol and knocks him out. Like, yes, the human skull, the ultimate consciousness button.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we've covered that's always
Well,
ridiculous.
right.
I know.
Yeah, previous
It's just
episode.
hilarious to watch.
But the idea that you can take a shotgun blast to the shoulder in a time where there is no decent medical care.
You might die weeks later from like an infection or something. Yeah, that could fuck you up. But yeah, that's like we watch RoboCop when Murphy's all shot up with shotguns and they take him to the hospital. They're in a real hospital in Houston and those are real doctors, just pretending. And the screenwriter was like, yeah, but you get a guy like this shot up a bunch of shotguns, like they wouldn't be alive, right? And they're like, oh no, all the time it happens. There's that great line in one of my favorite movies, Traffic, where the assassin Frankie Flores is talking to what's her name, Catherine Zeta-Jones, and he's like, I don't really like using guns. You can kind of shoot. You can shoot someone in the head 4 or 5 times, and some peachy doctor's keeping them alive. And my uncle was a neurosurgeon, and he used to tell us all these horrific horror stories, like while we were eating like Thanksgiving dinner. He'd be like, Enzo, one time we had a cab driver come in, and he was shot 6 times in the head. He had 6 entry and exit wounds, and he was conscious and talking to us and telling us what had happened. I was like, Jesus.
That cab
Yeah,
driver later went on to write the show.
He'd be like, Enzo, fresh brains have the consistency of toothpaste, and they they smell kind of like cotton candy. I'd be like, what?
One of the classes that I took as an undergraduate for my psych degree, we had to talk about. Let's see, this is YouTube, so what are we allowed to say? Self.
Can't be anything worse than I say on my show.
Self-deletion.
Yeah, self-deletion. There we go, self-deletion. And he talked about the fact that he says, you think you know what people can live through and what they can't, but I had a client once who attempted to self-delete by putting a shotgun in his mouth and pulling the trigger.
Oh,
yeah.
My Lord, what?
And his face is wide open. He's still alive.
He's like, you really think that, like, just, the impact would do the trick, but nope.
Yeah. The angle's important.
Wow.
There's the one woman who put her gun to a temple and then just blew out her eyeballs and went blind.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And he suffered like massive brain damage, and he was missing half his face and everything else. But yep, he lived through it.
Oh.
Whoopsie.
That's pretty insane.
Yep.
Yeah. The
That,
human
by the way,
body is
I think it was-
fragile and durable.
That, by the way, was way more than I needed to hear. Oh, dear Lord.
Oh, man. I love all those crazy medical nightmare stories, man. It's awesome.
I think he was attempting to, convince anyone that might be having those thoughts that, there is no sure thing, so you don't know what you're going to end up with. Don't do that.
Everyone,
Real talk.
never try to self-delete. It is a permanent solution to what is almost certainly a temporary problem.
Also, it's an asshole move.
Yes, I
yeah.
know it is.
But
I tried
honestly,
myself.
real talk.
I tried
I wanted
myself
to do
with
some-
30 aspirin when I was 10 years old.
Back to the show,
Jesus.
guys. Back to the show, guys.
Back to the show.
Dutch is going to get me demonetized.
Back to the show.
I should have been a forensics detective or something. I could do it.
So they're back to the priest. The priest knows about the kids. Hobbs, gives this guy a really hard time.
Well, Hobbs also
Did we miss where he actually sees the?
not yet. I don't think
The
it
rift?
happens yet.
The rift hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, this scene is Hobbs taking Pinocchio's gold, giving it to the teens, and telling them to run off.
Yeah, for some reason I thought those happened closer together.
Pinocchio is there for that scene.
For which scene?
For him giving the gold to the kids. Because he doesn't like him doing it.
Right, but then Pinocchio turns and walks off, and Hobbs
Yeah.
stays with the priest. And for some reason I was thinking that was when the priest shows him the glitch.
Oh, yeah, not yet. It's
So-
it's after he finds out that the priest actually knows the future.
Yeah, so this guy has taken the girl hostage, and he's like, if you don't turn the power on in an hour,
She dies.
yeah. Considering that the priest has been trying to keep this going so that he doesn't end up alone, I did not understand this move at all.
Neither did I.
There was no outcome where where one side or the other wasn't going to get offed.
But that would keep both sides still engaged.
If one side is dead, they're not engaged.
Oh, no. I meant the girl being killed would still keep both sides engaged.
Yeah.
But that's why he wanted Hobbs to wait until 417, because that's when the acid would fall and they wouldn't fight.
That was the last shootout, though. This is a different shootout. This is when the girl gets kidnapped,
Oh, right.
and if all her father has to do is turn the power on, And then he convinces the father, well, you wait till they go down and then you turn the power back off again. So they're captured, so they're trapped down there.
Yeah. This episode just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I
So-
feel like we've been saying that a lot lately.
So this is where he says you sold those kids out, and he's like, no, I'm just trying to help them. And he's like, no, you're full of it. And so then he brings him in and he shows him where he can see the future. Which is also kind of an interesting metaphysical thing, because that implies that everything that happens in Harsh Realm is predetermined.
Not everything. The priest couldn't predict that Hobbs would convince everyone to walk away.
Well, and this never happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Um,
it seems like, if anything, for whatever reason, it's showing possible futures or things that could happen, which I don't know how this rift works.
Well,
It's cool to
is
think
not-
about, but I have no idea.
Hobbs is not part of the programming because he's not one of the created beings. So I don't know. I mean, all he could have is possible futures. Like he and Pinocchio are kind of
Free will.
flies in the ointment.
Yeah, they're free-willed humans.
So then he has to he basically immediately says, yeah, I don't believe this. I was like, so what was the whole point in that very intense scene when Hobbs immediately just goes, yeah, this isn't real, and just walks off?
Just to show why the priest is doing what he's doing, and to make him seem such a tragic character when he doesn't realize he could just fucking follow the people out of the place. Sorry.
So he's trying to convince this guy that you get to turn the power off. Hobbs is trying to say, you know, we don't need to do any of this. You don't need to listen to him. He still has fresh blisters on his face. That's weird. And he's like, you know, Hobbs is basically trying to say, like, hey, I know I'm the new guy here, but, you know, this guy's been jerking you around. And he says, you know, and he figures out immediately, he's like, he doesn't want to be alone. I thought there was an implication that he had seen them leaving him alone, and that he was trying to prevent it.
Yeah, maybe. He definitely is afraid of being alone.
Yeah.
And yet, he doesn't just say, hey, take me with you.
That's my point. Yep.
Well, here's the problem. I feel like the implication, or what we're meant to assume, is that somehow that rift is also like keeping him alive, and that he's got to be there. Like that's the only other thing that could really justify it. But I feel like they don't really hint enough at that in the episode at all.
Yeah, they needed to make that more clear.
Well, I don't know that it's that, or if it's that being near it gives him power.
Either way, they should have had Hobbs ask him, why don't you just go with us when we leave?
Well, because he's proven what kind of person he is, and they don't want him by that point.
Yeah.
No, but he could have followed them anyway. I mean, you know, they would eventually lead him someplace he could be with people.
I mean, he believes that the rift is a gift from God to show him the future.
True.
And if he's seen himself being left alone,
Maybe he sees that as soon as he leaves, he gets killed. Who knows? But again, this is stuff that should have been in the episode.
yeah, but I think even without that, he's very attached to that rift and the things it shows him.
Yeah.
So time is up. He's gonna shoot the girl. His son gets in the way, says, nope, not gonna happen.
I love her, Dad.
That's not love, it's just just a lack of options.
I was waiting for that. Thank you.
think the light's supposed to be back on, and yet for some reason everything's still super dark.
Yeah.
His son pulls a gun on him. He's like, "You don't need to do this."
Another thing, this elevator is the only way to the gold. They can't get past the elevator and drop a rope. I mean, come on. Where there's a will, there's a
These-
way.
These guys would rather kill each other than climb.
Well, you know, it has a little something to do with how much a bar of gold weighs. Gold is really heavy.
Still.
It is,
Where
but
there's a will, there's a way.
if you
Well,
can
they
find
would
that
figure
many
out
lanterns,
something.
if you can find that many lanterns, you can find a pulley.
Find a
But a standard brick-sized gold bar weighs
find a
roughly
car.
27.5 pounds.
Yeah, but I'm
Find
not
a
suggesting.
V8 car,
But
like
that's why you
Pinocchio's
want.
car.
But that's why you want an
Take
elevator.
the motor and use it. Use it to raise and lower the elevator.
But there's
Yeah,
already an elevator there, so just turn on the power, guys. Come on.
I'm not suggesting that they're carrying the gold up. I'm suggesting that you just throw a rope down there, tie a bundle of it up, and winch it up.
Yeah, I could see that.
So he goes down there. He says, you know, the only one down there is Pinocchio. He says, you got to get out of here because stop with your logic.
Never.
He says,
We're Vulcans.
he says you got to get out of here because they're going to turn the power off. Pinocchio's like gone crazy.
I'm almost there. I'm almost to the gold. I just need to move a few more bricks out of the way. Ah!
He looks like Gollum after the ring.
Both of them do.
Doesn't he? Right there. He looks like Gollum.
It's ours, precious.
So, one of the things that really bothers me with this scene is like this is where Hobbs tells him like, dude, this entire tunnel is full of radiation. Like we're getting sick as we speak, right?
Yes.
That's here. Okay.
Yep.
The way that this guy delivers the lines, like there is no urgency or like speed
Nope.
to his voice.
Nope.
He's like, bro, he sounds like he ate an edible. He's like, hey man, there's like radiation. It's kind of making us sick, man. We should get out of here.
Well, that's why
like,
I said
yeah.
the guy in the beginning with the bomb like does better in that 3 minutes of acting than
Yep.
It's just
Yeah,
like at
two
that
lines
point,
and he'd do better.
it's just crazy. Like you would think to speak with a bit of urgency and speed to your, like, just no, not at all.
Doofus the Doofus says, but I want to hear more story from Enzo's uncle. You could use Eraserhead to demonstrate.
We are not sacrificing Eraserhead for this, dear Lord.
Eraserhead
Throw-
has already sacrificed his sanity to this television show. Thank you, Goofus.
I mean, hey, throw some more money. I'll think about it.
Goopus the Doopus 101. For $7.99 Australian. Nice.
Zephyr's vet bill thanks you. Yeah, so he basically is like, fine, I'm gonna leave. Pinocchio goes back to digging in holes, and then he just clocks him with a brick.
Yeah.
The human
Because that's
head.
how it works.
Drags him out.
The ultimate consciousness button.
Just find a brick or a lead
but he-
pipe.
The
and
funny
whack
thing
it.
is, he clocks him with a brick. He drags him like backwards, and then he goes back in to look. And the gold
There
is,
is
I don't know.
gold.
The gold is magically glowing.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, it's radioactive.
She tries to convince her father not to turn the power off. He turns it off anyway.
Because he's a dick.
The kids in this show are not very good at convincing their parents of things.
No. Then again, are kids ever any good at that?
Just hit him
Yeah.
with a brick and turn it back on.
I could
You
never
do.
convince my father of anything.
He's still got his father at gunpoint. Then everybody's got everybody at gunpoint.
It's a
And then
Mexican standoff.
And then they come back up, despite the fact that I don't think the power was ever turned back on.
It's okay. We have our
We don't talk
we have
about
our
that.
barrels of fiery trash everywhere.
Yeah, we've gone from lamps to.
Trash
Yeah.
barrels.
To barrel fires.
All right, here's a fun
Jeez.
medical story. It's not disgusting. It's funny though. But it's like there's this guy. A lot of Mexican people speaking Spanish and the locals. So this doctor is like trying to learn Spanish. So he can talk to his patients and. He's really, gung ho. And yeah, there's a car pulling up to the emergency room entrance with a family, a pregnant woman who's in labor,
Uh-huh.
and husband, and the woman's parents. And they're all in the car, and she's like in labor. And the guy's like going out to help, and he realizes this baby's coming right now in the car. So he just starts yelling in Spanish. He's like, puta, 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 like trying to say push. And they
would
slap
be
him. And they
empuje.
start, yeah, puja is push. Puta is whore. So he's just calling her a whore in front of her family.
Yep.
Just crying. Yeah, the husband's like trying to fight him.
I knew that's where you were going with that story.
So anyway, Pinocchio magically wakes up so that he can be, hobbled out of there.
Hobbs
some-
sold out of there?
Huh?
You mean Hobbs sold out of there?
Pinocchio was unconscious 2 minutes ago.
Yes, and you said he was hobbled out of there, and I said, didn't you mean Hobbs sold out of there?
Oh, that was just terrible and deserved to be ignored.
Sorry.
Now, what's really interesting is Pinocchio's limping. I don't know why.
Because of radiation.
And he's like, basically, he says, yeah, the gold is totally useless. It's all like completely irradiated.
Irradiated. Yep.
And they go, oh, well, that sucks. I guess we'll
Well-
leave then.
Darn the luck. Darn the luck.
Yeah, all of this time and investment and gunfire and everything else, and they're just like, oh,
Wait,
okay, and they
is
just
that
pack up and
statue
leave.
gold? Is the crucifix gold?
I mean, it's probably gold plated.
But yeah,
It's
like
gold?
considering how long they've been fighting over it, like I don't think either side would have just taken their word for it. I still imagine they would have like sent someone down to check
By the
and
way,
just be like, I'm sorry, what was that?
no, go on.
Oh, no, like I feel like regardless of them, Hobbs and Pinocchio telling them that it's all irradiated, I feel like they wouldn't have even cared. Like they would have been like, you could be full of shit.
Well, the other
Well,
thing
here's
is
the
that,
thing.
like,
Irradiated gold basically irradiated gold is it takes Au 197 to Au 198. The irradiated gold emits gamma rays and beta particles, but it has an incredibly short half-life of 2.7 days, which means gold loses most of its radioactivity within a few weeks, which is why they use it as safe, short-lived tracers in mining and industrial pipes, where they can be detected through steel to monitor material flow and security. The gold would have been fine if they'd just brought it up and waited a couple of weeks.
Gosh.
Nice.
Yeah.
The other thing, though, is that if you assume that for the purposes of this show and this show's rules, that it is terribly radioactive, didn't he bring a bar up with him?
He did, and probably
Yeah.
held it close to his body like a moron.
Yeah, I don't know where he got the bar, but so anyway, the priest is out the window. He sees them leaving. They didn't even say goodbye. The young couple is, can go have, deformed babies because they've spent too much time around
Yeah.
all this radiation. And he comes running after them, and he's like, "You can't leave me! You can't leave me!"
Watch us.
And they're just like, "Yep, bye."
Read a webcomic with a girl who had been exposed to radiation and basically was born without arms, and so she had these prosthetic sci-fi arms, and she was a superhero. And one of the characters is like, "So what happened with your arms here?" She goes, "Well, my father exposed me to radiation when I was a baby, thinking it would give me superpowers. Yeah, it turns out it only gives birth defects."
So I don't know if we're supposed to feel bad for this guy or not, but that's.
I mean,
He
I
could
do
follow.
do love how I love how helpless he looks though. Like this guy's a great actor. He's in Carnival. He's in Twin Peaks: The Return. He always gives a great performance. It kind of sucks that he's only in the one episode.
And then we have this random shot of a lot of gold.
Well, if there had been more seasons, he might have been in more episodes. Who knows? Would have been nice.
Episode 10.
Cersei.
Yeah, Enzo was talking about the fact that, considering this is
I
appropriate.
need to go make a
considering
pit stop. I'll be right back.
that-
We'll
Okay.
be left front.
Enzo was talking about the fact that, this was appropriate with the Odyssey currently out. So.
Which I liked. Fight me. I don't care.
I'm glad you liked
actually-
it. Good Lord, why would
Actually,
I
a lot
Yeah.
of people who originally thought they were not going to enjoy it have said that they
I was
thought
one
it
of
was
them.
quite good.
It's a good movie. I might say it's a great movie. The Chuds lost. Sorry, guys.
Not yet. They haven't. I mean, basically, it's only made 125 so far. We'll find out where it goes.
What?
Chances
Made
are
like
it's not gonna-
$260 million opening weekend.
I meant
and
125 domestic. Sorry. Chances are it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
going to make much more than about 850, which would be
What's
100 million gain,
So-
but not as much as they wanted.
So I don't know. I think that it's a real shame that this episode wasn't actually shot because
Yeah,
this is
this
a
is
far
good.
better episode than the last couple. Cincinnati was good. Don't get me wrong.
Exactly.
This is
Other
one of
than
the
that,
better
this-
standalone throwaway episodes.
Absolutely.
Because this is diving into all that Matrix, Inception, Strange Days, all that cool sci-fi stuff we wanted in a show like this.
But this episode should have been the episode before Cincinnati, and Cincinnati should have been the final episode.
Oh
I
yeah.
think this was a throwaway episode, though, because we've been looking at it as if Santiago is, the point, and Santiago is kind of the goal.
At least
But-
Santiago's mentioned in this episode.
The story actually seems to be about, Hobbs becoming the one kind of thing.
Literally calling him the One is insane.
Not the one. Not the one.
Not the one. Not the one. No. That's us no.
Like the Matrix comparisons are just like never stopping. And yeah, you got the Strange Days. What were they called? The drug they use, the
Dreamers or something.
Dreamers. Yeah, the Dream Core thumb drives or whatever they use.
So I do find it funny that, this episode, Hobbs finds out that, his VC counterpart in Harsh Realm was with another woman, and
Right.
he just happens to not write a letter to his wife this episode.
Yeah, or the previous episode, but yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting what they're talking about. How, like, according to Cersei, he was involved with this woman romantically as a computer program, and then when his human counterpart enters Harsh Realm, like this guy, his computer version, simulation
Vanished,
version, just kind
basically.
of disappears basically, and he
Yep.
winds up on the other side of the country.
Well, and we were talking about this last week. We were trying to figure out, like, did he have a VC version? So
Yeah.
I did think it was nice that they would have answered that question if they'd been allowed to make this episode. As your GM says in the Shadowrun Virtual Reality Sourcebook from 1990, there's a novella about a kid who is raised in the Matrix and rescued by an outsider.
Huh.
When did the
Shadowrun,
Matrix? When did the original Matrix come out? I don't even know.
2000.
99.
Oh, 99. Sorry, 99.
And then Animatrix came out 2002, I think? Or
You know my problem with the Animatrix? They have a sequence where they show how the Matrix came to be, and they make it
yeah,
very
the Second
clear,
Renaissance.
and they make it very clear that the humans fired first. Morpheus tells Neo, honestly, no one knows which side fired first. Well, right there in the Animatrix, they make it clear. So I'm like, you know what?
Well-
Screw the Animatrix. They didn't follow the
Well,
canon.
Well, no, because in the Matrix, it's closer to the year 2199, and they don't know what happened because it was all lost to the history books. I'm guessing.
No, the Animatrix came from the files that are in Zion.
Oh, the
They say that
Zion
at the beginning of the
Codex.
show. Beginning
Yeah,
of
you're
the
right.
show. Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? Screw you. This is not canon.
I don't know. I like the idea that we're the ones who darkened the skies.
that is the I don't like this answer, therefore it's not canon train of thought.
No, it breaks the movie. The movie.
No, it
Morpheus
doesn't.
has
I don't
been
think
to
so. I didn't
Zion.
think so.
He knows the stories.
It doesn't break it at all.
Well, you
Morpheus
could just
might
argue maybe Morpheus is just lying to Keanu.
Yeah, he might have just lied.
He hasn't lied.
No.
He didn't lie to Neo once in the entire movie. Why would he lie about that?
It's
So-
embarrassing.
So once again, like Florence is just magically back with us. No
Right.
explanation about where she went, why she wasn't here previously.
I think
And
the
we
dog
find
is
out
still-
that she thinks Hobbs is the one as well, and that's why she's.
I believe she wrote that down in like the dirt in the first episode, though.
Yeah.
Like it's just
she wrote it-
it's a reminder.
She wrote it on the bar, like in the nastiness on the bar. I think the dog.
the
is still-
one.
The dog is still missing. The dog.
Yeah,
does not
whatever
appear in
happened to
this
that
at all.
damn dog? When was the last time we saw the dog? He was like locked in the
Pinocchio
car.
finally ate it.
I think the last time we saw the dog was the episode before Mono Stomini. So it was like
And-
episode 6, I think.
Last time I specifically remember is I mean, there are two episodes where it's very much the disappearing, reappearing dog. There's the one with the lake where they just leave him in the car. And there's the World War episode there where he just kind of disappears and reappears kind of at random.
I mean, hey, you know things really went to shit when they lost the budget for the dog.
I mean, honestly, training Jack Russells is probably it's really hard, so it's probably very expensive.
I was wondering, if Soccer, the Wishbone dog, had been in any other movies or anything, and nope, he was just in Wishbone, and that's it.
I thought
And
I thought JRTs were one of the easier dogs to train because they really
No.
love to do things.
They do love to do things, but they're one of those dogs that like
yeah,
is
problem-
smart. They're smart enough to think for themselves.
the problem with the movie shoot is you got to have the dog do the same trick over and over and over again for like multiple takes, and there's a lot of like, cut. We got to move something. Hold positions. Hold still. Like I don't know. I'd imagine like a hyperactive dog would be annoyed with that.
I've heard the only ones that are harder are beagles because beagles are hard to train anyway. And
Yes.
so like when you do a movie with beagles, you teach like you get a bunch of beagles and you teach them each like one trick.
One
Right.
trick, right?
I know. I had a beagle.
Robert Eggers
Not
said,
easy to train.
working with a goat was like the worst thing ever.
So there's actually a biological reason that beagles are harder to train than other dogs. Other dogs have like the pack mentality of like there is a top member to the pack and you want to please that one.
Yeah.
And for most domestic dogs that's their human. So beagles don't actually have that drive. They have like a hive mind and their whole
Right.
thing is just to move together.
And scent. Find a scent and take off.
Yep.
It's funny because you'll be like sitting there trying to train them. Like, I guess I'm being obedient. What's that smell? And they're just gone.
Yep.
Yeah,
I-
but I have to admit, the little beagle puppy in Regarding Henry still just captures my heart.
It was probably several beagle puppies.
It may have been, but God, they were so cute.
Yeah, they're terrible. Don't ever own one.
Oh no, I
Um,
never would. The baying and the oils. Oh dear Lord.
My great uncle used to raise hunting beagles, and he did pretty well. But whew,
I would have a dachshund before I had a beagle, and I'll never have a dachshund.
So,
All right. So we find
I
out
love
about
beagles.
the drug use in the. I'm a little weird about how they stick electrodes into their heads when there's no medical care, but
Yeah.
so be it. So you plug yourself into the system, you get your personal fantasy turned into like reality, at least, while you're plugged in.
What is real? If real is simply what you can see, what you can hear, what you can taste and feel, then reality is simply electrical impulses interpreted by your brain.
Well, the funny thing is that this is very Inception-y. Because you're in a virtual world with people getting high by going into a virtual world.
That's true. Very Inception-y. Before Inception even came out, like 10 years before.
Then he says, yeah, they fry their brains. If you ever tried it, not me. Once you go there, you never come back.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
do.
know.
In this one, it's yeah, it's kind of like Strange Days or something where it's like more like a drug. It's a literal like drug addiction. I think like in Inception, it was more like they just they have a happier life in the the virtual world.
No, but
Whereas
the
this
dream
is
within the
like,
dream, this is a virtual
have like
reality
a-
within a virtual reality.
these ones in this script seem to have like a physical like dependence, like they're having withdrawals and stuff. I'm sick,
Yeah.
man. I
Yeah,
need my
yeah.
fix.
And so the entire reason that they go to this bar, this club, is that they're looking for the resistance. And Hobbs basically sits by the bar and immediately asks the bartender if he's heard about the resistance. Like,
see
the dude
these
is not
posters everywhere?
subtle at all, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Hobbs,
he
Hobbs
throws
says
a
no,
brick.
I like how he says there's like a bunch of posters that say the resistance, will stop Santiago, and he looks at it and he's like, these posters are all faded and old. Santiago squashed all rebellions years ago. And then they see like a news sign that says he is coming. And they're like, that looks new. And he's like, I don't want to talk about it. Let's go in
Well,
this
Hobbs-
barn.
I mean, Hobbs says that looks new, but he doesn't appear to
right.
have a clue what it's about. Pinocchio's
Right,
just
exactly.
like, yeah,
They're
ignore
talking
that.
about him.
Ignore that.
He's the
Um,
one.
Nice, Jacob. Very good, Jacob.
Shoot.
Oh, wow.
I was gonna
sorry.
blow it up while you had the thing up, and your timing was
I'll put it back. Wrong one. There we go.
technical
Not
difficulty.
the one. Not the one. No. Not the one.
So
That's historic.
despite his resistance, Pinocchio bribes the guy. But apparently, Pinocchio must keep track of all of their bullets because he's always the one handing out the money.
Yeah.
We don't trust Hobbs. He'd be handing out to the poor people in the street.
You know what would be hilarious would be if Pinocchio had been taking bullets, removing the bullet, pouring out the gunpowder, putting in a little sand, and then sticking the bullet back in, and then selling those. And then when they look at them, they realize the primer's already been fired on those because they were discarded brass.
I mean, I'm sure somebody does that at some point, but Pinocchio has a
Probably.
reputation. Like everyone knows Pinocchio.
That's true. He would probably not want to do that then. Even though he was trying so hard not to let anyone know his name.
Yeah, then he just kind of gave up on that.
Yeah.
Once his name got out, it was just like, forget it. All right, so just coincidentally, the bar happens to be the perfect place to talk about rebellions. So this dark-haired mystery lady who is staring at Hobbs, okay, she does. I was gonna say, does she even introduce herself, or do they just magically know her name? But yes, she is Cersei. She brings in the High Rollers. She takes them to. All right, so I didn't know this, or I didn't notice this initially. So, Let's talk about the Odyssey comparisons here, other than her name.
Yeah, we got the Cyclops, Bosco. He's got one eye. We've got, I assume maybe the Dreamer sticks are kind of like the lotus flowers.
Lotus Eaters.
Uh,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, good thought.
There's, let's see. I mean, they didn't.
Hobbs
and
is known
kill-
as the Simple Man, which could be known as Nobody, as he calls himself to the Cyclops.
Yeah, and to be fair, the whole show is kind of like the Odyssey, a big long journey home, trying to get back to his wife. Yeah, I mean, Jesus. Has it been right in front of us the whole time? God,
They were just a lot more blatant about it this way.
I know. We have to spell it out.
Smack, smack, smack.
Well, yeah, and one of the things here is that the woman refuses to take her eyes off of Hobbs to the point where it's actually freaking him out, and he doesn't know why yet.
Is there a traitor in the Odyssey? I'm now trying to remember the original long form.
I mean, the suitors. I mean, the crew does mutiny against Odysseus eventually.
Well, I don't really mute. Well, they mutiny against him.
Once the Cyclops calls Poseidon to bring down vengeance upon Nobody.
No. I'm thinking. In this show, they accuse him of not being the one, because the only thing more dangerous than being a prophet is your followers deciding that you've said the wrong thing, and so you're not a prophet after all.
Do it.
But anyway, Bosco says that he is letting people get high and kill themselves in order to fund his own rebellion, because he doesn't believe in slogans and all that good sort of stuff.
That's nice.
Hobbs accuses him of being a pirate, not a rebel. We find out that Bosco left the original rebellion. And I think we find out later he actually split the rebellion to the point where they really actually weren't terribly useful. They were impotent. Strike a blow. They were so busy being Sunday school teachers, they forgot to fight Santiago. So he considers the fight to be more important than they consider. I don't know.
Yeah, with them it's all slogans. With him, it's actual action.
It's hard to say. When you say Sunday school teachers, it makes it sound like they're goody two shoes.
Yeah, they're all about the slogans.
Well, I mean, they do then immediately turn around and threaten to burn someone at the stake. So it's not just slogans.
Yeah.
So Florence is still cooling her heels at the bar. The tattooed man works his way over to her and admits to her that he is actually a spy for the rebellion they actually wanted to see. His name is Garcia.
Probably would have been played by, well, let's see. They had Terry Quinn playing Santiago, so Garcia probably would have been played by an Arab.
Dave Foley could play Garcia. I thought it was funny when we were reading the script and he was saying, Cersei's like, I'm not the one who betrayed you. And I'm like, oh, it was probably the only other character with a name and speaking lines, I'm betting. And I was right.
Shocks.
I did wonder, Peter is so eager to, accuse Hobbs of not being the one. I did have a split second.
It could have been the very well memorable character Flak Jacket was her name.
Yep.
She seemed like a standout on the episode.
Bosco doesn't like Hobbs because he doesn't want to get drunk and high and have a lot of sex. Bosco is apparently very big on everyone having the freedom to do what they want, but doesn't like it when people don't want to do the things he thinks they should do. I really wonder who would have played Bosco. He says it's time for an old soldier like me to retire, which implies that he's probably older than Terry O'Quinn. I'm trying to think who in the 90s would have
and
been.
he has to be a big guy too, who's let himself go a little bit.
Who likes to eat ice cream?
I'm just trying to think like who in the 90s would have been good for it. I'm also entertained that
the guy who played the judge in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the guy who played Luke in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, that guy, he was the first victim of the Terminator. He would have been perfect.
Wait, the guy from Fright Night 2?
Was he in Fright Night 2? Let me see.
He's the guy who eats all the bugs. He's like
Everyone-
a big muscly guy.
everyone immediately begins to Google.
Buffy. Luke. Oh, it was
like a
Luke.
bigger
Not Nicholas,
guy.
it was Luke. It was. I've bet Brian Thompson.
That's him. That's the guy.
He would have been perfect in this role. He's always played kind of a bad guy, but not necessarily a bad guy, but usually a bad guy.
Which is funny because when you see interviews of him, he's like super actor bro, like very, seems
No,
really
I-
chill and
I've met him in
What's
real
his name
life.
again?
artsy.
Brian Thompson. Met him in real life, and I actually surprised the crap out of him when I told him, by the way, did you know you're the first person the Terminator ever killed? And he was like, I am? I was like, yeah.
Sick.
I don't think he's old enough in the 90s.
By 99, he would definitely have been in his 30s.
Yeah. He would have been old enough.
In his
definitely
30s,
was.
then he's 10 years younger than Terry O'Quinn, or 20 even, based on
They
what
could do makeup. But he's the right size, he's a good actor, he's the right kind of character. Shave his head and make him act like he's older. Maybe give him a
Yeah,
white
that's right.
beard.
Punches right through him.
Oh yeah. Believe me, I know that story well. So yeah, he was thrilled to know it.
That's cool.
Well, Pinocchio's having a pretty good time right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was entertained that they specifically say that he's attended by kinky twins.
All capital, kinky twins.
Clancy Brown was 40 in 1999.
Yeah, he could have done it too, although he would have cost a lot more money back then.
I actually, consider we were talking about Carter liked to work with the same people over and over again. I do think that guy was in an episode of The X-Files. At least one.
Which guy?
Brian Thompson.
Doesn't surprise me. Oh yeah, he was the
Let's see if I'm
bounty
right.
hunter. He was the bounty hunter.
I was going to say, I feel like... Was Brian Thompson in The X-Files? Yes, he is. Yep, Alien Bounty Hunter.
Alien bounty hunter. Yeah, I remember that.
So yeah, now I am very surprised that he didn't, considering he likes to reuse people.
Oh yeah.
So Pinocchio thinks Hobbs is being an idiot for not taking a massage.
One starts
so-
at the top, the other starts at the bottom, and they meet in the middle. Ugh, I cringed when I read that shit.
No, he said
Gesturing
they.
at his towel.
He says they meet at the towel.
Yeah.
I
Hobbs
mean,
says, "I don't."
imagine you're Pinocchio though, and while you're trying to enjoy that, your friend just burst into the room like, dude, we really shouldn't be here, man. We should just leave. Like, really? Leave me the fuck alone for 10 minutes.
Well, he didn't burst in. He's just pacing while. It would make it hard to relax though.
Oh, so he's just casually in the room with me while this is going on. Doesn't really make it any better.
But the thing is that Hobbs says I don't trust him. Pinocchio says me neither, but we'll sleep in soft beds, eat and drink our fill. What else? Isn't that a total role reversal from like everything that's gone before this? Like Pinocchio is always the one that's mistrusting and like doesn't want to eat the food from the nice people in the camp. And Hobbs is the one who's like, yeah, they seem fine. You know, the fact that they're acting creepy as fuck. Like, no, it seems good.
I guess the difference would be that, Pinocchio is now being served food by kinky twins and not weird, dirty hippies from the other episode.
I know, but Pinocchio has been so, like, mistrusting of, like, everyone.
I think you
everything.
underestimate the power of kinky twins in all caps. I'm sure they were very persuasive.
Well,
He's
but
had worse days.
he has absolutely no use for the dreamers who want their fantasies fulfilled by a program. And yet, that is exactly what he'd be doing if he got it on with the twins, is having his fantasy fulfilled by a program.
Yeah, it's true. Although,
Okay,
he's
but
not, he's
this
not wiring
program,
into another fantasy. He's just remaining in the fantasy he's in.
But this program is has kinky twins.
this program
So,
has jiggle
yeah.
physics.
All right, so Cersei is watching them on the cameras. Bosco starts to massage her shoulders. Says she's awfully tense. Bosco wants to know who Hobbs is. She claims that she just loves men in uniform. Bosco says, "You love who I tell you to love." So once again, we have the whole woman who sold herself for protection. So he immediately like sends off ID shots of Hobbs and Pinocchio to Santiago to run them against a database. So he apparently isn't too serious about standing up to Santiago.
Well, I thought that was kind of the entire point. Like, he's basically giving these dreamers the drugs and the connections that they need, that he says were there to, like, pay for the revolution. But he's kind of just sitting on his ass with the kinky twins, smoking cigars and, like, fancy liquor. So, it's clearly not about the rebellion anymore. You could almost even argue that this guy is like a Santiago plant at this point who broke up the rebellion against him.
I think it's more like prohibition. Organized crime did not want prohibition to end because they could make more money running illegal liquor than they could ever make running bars. So as long as Santiago is in power and they're the black market, he makes way more money. So it's not that he's working for or with Santiago, it's that he benefits if Santiago stays in power.
Yeah, that's fair. It's just, like, either way, he is not focused on the revolution or the rebellion at this point.
Oh, no,
whatsoever.
Absolutely not. I mean, he still hit Santiago's, well, he's still planning on hitting Santiago's truck, so. And then he randomly, like, pulls out a dagger and, threatens Cersei with it for no apparent reason. Just because, all bad guys are creepy rapists, I guess. Cersei's been toting around a gun. Hobbs is trying to find a way out but he can't find the glitch. She doesn't seem to realize that he doesn't know who she is.
Mhm.
So I'm a bit confused about the fact that she's toting around a gun like she's planning on shooting him.
More of probably a show for Bosco and his cameras than anything else.
Yeah,
Except
it's
Bosco,
probably. Sorry, go ahead.
except Bosco said that he wanted her to make nice with Hobbs. And instead, she's all like pissed off and heartbroken and, thrown over by him.
Okay, yeah.
She offers him drugs, so like she at least does that much for Bosco's cameras.
But then I believe she tells him like, like we're alone. You don't have to pretend like you don't know me or something like that. And Hobbs is just completely confused.
Yeah, well, she says, any pictures of me in there? Like, do I still exist in your fantasies? And he's like, I don't know you. And she's like, you son of a bitch, you walked out of my bed and out of my life. And he's like, what?
Sure, baby. Whatever you say.
This doesn't make any sense. You're damned right. I wanted you back. I was thrilled. Oh, I was thrilled when you walked in the door. Okay, so she's talking about the bar door.
Yeah.
And then we have this, melodramatic, she shoots out a television. How she's going to explain that to Bosco? So then she gets close enough to slap him, which allows him to just take the gun away from her.
Yeah.
That's what would happen to most girl bosses when, they try and... Go ahead.
Was they trying? I didn't mean to cut you off. I thought.
No, go ahead.
Look, I was just saying it's what happens to. It's what should happen to virtually every gun-toting person in a TV show or a movie who goes right up to the face of the person they're threatening, holding the gun close enough for them to just go, snatch, thank you.
Did you ever see Leverage?
No.
The fighter in Leverage always says he doesn't like guns, and nobody understands why. And then somebody sticks a gun in his face, and he looks at everyone else and says, the reason I don't like guns is that they have a really limited range that they're actually good at. And then without even looking, he proceeds to just take the gun away from the guy. Takes it apart, drops it on the floor, and then beats the snot out of him.
Of course, the effective range of a typical handgun is about 5 to 10 yards.
Well, it's kind of
what you can't grab it at that point.
No. The guy sticks it right in his face.
I know, though. That's my point. Yeah, but
his point is that if you're too far away or too close,
it's useless. Yeah, but at 5 to 10 yards, you're good.
Yeah, most tough guys, they're trying to make a statement though. So
I know, and it just drives me nuts. Like, if you have a gun, keep out of arm's reach, you moron.
There is one scene where he has to fend off like half a small army, and he's like, "Everybody leave! Like I'm gonna do this," and they're like, "But you can't take everybody on your own. Like, you don't even like guns." And he says, "I said I didn't like guns. I didn't say I didn't know how to use them."
Good line.
I sometimes think that the inspiration for John Wick might have come from that scene.
The first John Wick, great. The second John Wick, a little derivative but still fun. The third John Wick, okay. Again, the fourth John Wick. Are we kidding here?
The only reason I watched the fourth one, so the writer specifically said he wanted to end it at 3, and he intended to kill John Wick off at the end of 3, and then they told him he couldn't. That he couldn't. So the only reason I watched 4 was because Clancy Brown was in it, and immediately I was like, there's going to be a comparison between 1 and 4 someday, just so I can talk about how terrible this is. Like, it's actively insulting.
The worst part of
All
that,
right.
the worst part of that movie is when he goes up the stairs, then he gets knocked down to the bottom and has to go back up the stairs again. I was like, "Are you effing kidding me?"
I wouldn't say that was the worst. This just so much that's so bad.
Ugh.
So he basically says, like, pretend I have amnesia and don't know what you're talking about and tell me what's going on. And this is when we find out that she sent him out to get a drink 4 months ago, which is when Hobbs. So now we know Hobbs has been here for 4 months,
Yep.
which is. I'm not sure the timing lines up well with that, but we'll just take it as it is.
The episode's out of order.
And well, that is definitely more evidence for them being out of order.
Yep.
Um,
This was the last episode filmed, though.
it was never filmed at all.
Well, I
Oh,
was
okay.
going to say.
No, sorry. Forgive me. No, forgive me. Since episode 9 was the last episode filmed. Sorry.
But that's what I'm saying is I think they were shown in the episode they were filmed, not necessarily the order that they were supposed to go in.
Yeah. Actually, no, they weren't shown in the episode. They were the order they were filmed, but fiddle dee.
So anyway, the idea is that his virtual character literally just vanished when he showed up. That's the implication. And she apparently filmed the whole thing or something, because she proceeds to show him a whole bunch of television angles of them getting it on, I guess. Pinocchio they are now referred to Pinocchio's twins. Bosco shows up and says, "Hey, look, you've got help wanted posters." Bosco says, "Here's mine and here's yours." Pinocchio says, "Your picture's better." Bosco says, "The price on our heads is the same, but Hobbs is worth double." I can't figure out if he's supposed to be jealous about the fact that Hobbs is worth more money than he is, or
just greedy about it. He's either jealous or greedy. We can't tell which.
And Bosco says, I keep hearing rumors that there's some kind of hero coming. The funny thing is that Santiago is increasing Hobbs' importance by putting all this money on his head on the basis of maybe he's this rumored guy, even though Santiago supposedly doesn't believe that there is the one coming.
Not the one. Not the one.
It feels a little bit like the Harry Potter thing, where Harry Potter becomes the chosen one because Voldemort decides he's the chosen one.
Yeah. Because he could have chosen what's his name? The fat kid.
Yeah, the kid who eventually goes on to cut the head off his snake and actually
be a hero. Yeah.
All right, so Garcia, we're in the rebel camp now. Garcia's talking to Florence about, we used to have all this stuff and then we got broken up because he left. And then everybody wants to know, if Hobbs is the one. And then we find out that apparently there is the samurai. There's the warrior who gives his life to protect the simple man. I can't help but wonder if Leonard Skinner was really big during this period. So,
They were big back in the 70s.
Well, I know, but that's the only reason I can think of to refer to him as the simple man, which is a really dumb name for a hero.
Well, I mean, have you seen Tom Hobbs? It's a fitting name. I mean, the only thing more accurate would have been Simple Jack.
So Bosco says other people's fantasies are his definition of hell, and he basically tortures Pinocchio by, I don't know if he's supposed to be giving him nightmares or just things other people are into that he's really not. Bosco volunteered to be in Harsh Realm. now he's worried that Hobbs is here to kill him, not Santiago. Pinocchio says, "Nah, you're a pissant. Nobody gives a damn about you." That pisses him off even more. And then Pinocchio passes out. Hobbs does the whole "you can have a better life" thing.
I was thinking maybe Simple Man was from some interpretation of the Odyssey, because he calls himself nobody to the Cyclops. But no, there's never been any translation where he calls himself that.
Yeah. Well, and Samurai wouldn't be anywhere there either.
Well,
It's a
no,
Leonard
but
Skinner
that would be
reference.
the warrior.
But apparently they say later that he's specifically called the Samurai
Yeah, I know.
in the legend. And there's nothing about where this legend comes from. That's one of the things, if they redid this, that's one of the things they'd really have to do, is there needs to be more ground building as to it. I don't know, they threw out this idea of there being a legend, but then they don't support it well enough. So Cersei helps even though she's mad at him. They rescue Pinocchio from Bosco. They club him with the butt of his gun because, once again, skull, instant unconsciousness button.
Yes.
They cuff him because apparently everyone was carrying handcuffs.
I mean, who doesn't?
Pinocchio magically wakes up again because Pinocchio can regain consciousness on key.
Well, I mean, the great thing is that even if you don't have handcuffs on you, the Kinky twins probably do. So
Probably, yeah.
you could just borrow theirs.
But the pink fluffy ones just don't work as well. Cersei really wants to kill Bosco. They say no.
But they look good.
How do you know that eclectic code?
Huh?
How do you know they don't work as well? Because I didn't know that.
Because they have warning labels on them that say that they're not
okay.
real.
See, I didn't know they had those.
I don't know how everyone doesn't know that.
Good to know.
I feel like Hobbs wouldn't know that.
I mean, he does engage in premarital intercourse.
Yeah, he does. That's why Soapy's pregnant.
So Pinocchio wants to get rid of Cersei. Hobbs says, apparently we were, lovers at one point. I can't just make her go away. That would be mean. There's lots of, and now Pinocchio is saying, I don't trust her. You got to get rid of her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, ironically, Pinocchio's like, I don't trust her, and Hobbs says, you don't trust anyone. Which is why I was like, man, that was a real fast role reversal in the same episode. And everyone instantaneously knows who he is somehow. I'm not really sure how it is that everyone just instantaneously looks at him. This is what I mean. Like, there needs to be a statue or a drawing or something that leads everyone to be like, hey, out of all the soldiers that have been sent into Harsh Realm, he's the guy. So yeah, there's a, big parade. Everyone's, wants to touch him and, scream, he's the one. Pinocchio doesn't buy it. Hobbs doesn't buy it. Peter is apparently the head of the religious ceremony. They're passing around a goblet. Whatever it is, apparently smells terrible.
Yeah, he nearly gags when he smells it.
Pinocchio admits to having known about this legend, but he doesn't believe that Hobbs is it.
Yeah, I mean, look at him.
Well, and then it says, like, Peter says, Santiago shot you in the back like a dog, point blank, and you rose up again like a phoenix. And Hobbs is like, that didn't happen. Like, that never happened.
Mm-hmm. But then they all mutter and mutter, 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 and he smiles.
Yeah, and Peter's like, there's no wife, so therefore, like, she's not real. Cersei's mad because he's mentioned he has a fiance.
He says that denial is part of the legend.
Pinocchio always has the good line. Besides eating bad mushrooms and spouting mumbo jumbo, do you resistance fighters do any resisting? Garcia also wants Cersei to go away. There's a whole lot of, like, chattering for no particular reasons. Garcia then says that, you know, he wishes he could stop the convoy if he had a few chips and power cells. Hobbs gets him the power cells. They stop the trucks without being violent. And then Bosco immediately shows up and takes everything away from them. He does start to get intimate with Cersei and then goes, no, never mind. Like, I can't do this. And she gets all pissed off. Which I think is just supposed to make you think that she's the one who betrayed them. But really, it just makes Hobbs look like a hypocrite. Like, you know how she feels once you start to, like, go down that path, you need to keep going. It's really not fair to her otherwise.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, by the way, what's your real name?
Nancy.
Yeah.
Nancy Krause.
So, yeah, truck convoy. They get betrayed. Bosco shows up and takes everything away from them. They blame it on Cersei. They're going to burn her at the stake. Yada, yada, yada.
It actually says that in the script. Yada, yada, yada.
I mean, it might as well. Hobbs says no, like, this absolutely is not going to happen, at which point Peter immediately turns on him and says, oh, you're not the one. Which seems crazy.
Not the one.
And then Pinocchio realizes that Garcia has drugs on him, basically.
Dun, dun, dun.
Pinocchio sees something dangling from Garcia's arm. Ripping off his coat exposes DreamWorks below, wire snaking to the small screen. And he says, oh, I'm sick, I'm sick. Yeah, they are literally going to burn them at the stake. So, you know, that's what happens when you have religious zealots. Florence, who can't just yell, hey, stop, decides to shoot into the air. And then both of them fire into the air. So there's 3 possible chances to have a bullet come down and hit somebody in the head.
Yay.
They drag Garcia into the center of the mob. They prove that he was the one that betrayed them because he's on drugs.
Sold you out for his fix.
I know lemmings that are less easily led. This barbecue is over.
God, I hate that, because I'm sure everyone here knows it, but in case anyone watching doesn't know it, that entire idea of lemmings running off a cliff was engineered by Disney filmers back in the 60s, who literally herded those poor little lemmings into running off a cliff.
It doesn't
They
change
don't
the
do it
figure. It
naturally.
doesn't change the figure of speech.
No, but they don't do it naturally.
I mean, penguins kind of do, so, I mean.
But they can half fly.
So, I might have forgot what actually happens to Garcia after this, because 10 seconds ago they were ready to burn Cersei at the stake.
Yeah, and
So,
instead everyone just kind of turns around and walks away.
Yeah. He's basically outed as a traitor, and therefore everyone just says, "Screw him. We have nothing to do with him anymore." They should have killed
Yeah.
him, but they don't.
Yeah, they just leave. Nothing happens to him. He does. There's like not even anything about him being arrested. And then we just change scenes, so like they're riding away. Cersei says, it meant everything that you believed me. Hobbs is like, well, you're persuasive. She now says this time is really goodbye. Hobbs is like, well, you never know. She's like, I love you. He's like, sorry, I know a different love from another world. And she's like, she says another world? And yet everyone else that they've met so far seems to have known about, the fact that there's another world. But she doesn't.
Not everyone. Some people, they've had to open their eyes to it.
Well, I suppose that's true. But,
like his fiancée, she didn't know.
well, no, she says that she'd heard rumors about another world and she hadn't believed it, but now she did.
Ah, gotcha.
But anyway, so she walks away. Hobbs says, I don't love her. Then why do I feel so bad? And like that's the end of the episode.
and the show.
And the show. Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
that didn't even happen. So
yeah, it's true.
Hey, it is written. It was done.
So let's see. We've decided it needed different casting. It needs a different order. It definitely would have been better with a shorter season.
Yeah.
And without all the stupid letter writing things at the beginning.
Oh God, please, yeah, kill that with fire.
I mean, I might be able to tolerate them if they're like 2 sentences and they make more sense. I mean, there are a lot of shows that have just like a quick, this is where we're... Heroes,
Now it
actually.
would be text messages. Dearest Sophie.
Well, listen, like if they did them today, you could maybe get away with it if, like you said, Goat, they toned it down a bit, and it actually reflected what we saw of the character, because, we've said it 1,000 times already, but when he writes the letters, he's this chivalrous knight, and then we watch the episode and he's simple Jack. Like, I get that they're trying to simple Jack. But it just, like, I get what they're trying to go for in the sense of the traditional, like, man at war writing a letter to his wife, but it's just, it doesn't gel at all with what we see of him in the rest of every single episode.
Yeah,
so you can do them, just make it actually fit with the damn character.
Yeah.
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 Now, honestly, I was trying to think of another actor who might have been good at playing the leader of the resistance, and the only one I really can settle on is Steven Van Zandt. He's got the gruffness, he's got the leathery look, and he's got the acting chops. And he started his acting in 1999.
How old do you think Hobbs is supposed to be in this? 30s, maybe? Early 30s?
Late 20s, early 30s, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, the fact that he's retiring from the military... I mean, he hasn't made his 20 because he's not actually retiring, but... He has to have done a few years anyway. You think, is Pinocchio supposed to be a few years older?
Yeah, he's definitely supposed to be
I
older,
would,
no question
I
of
would
that.
assume so. Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out who in today's actors would make a good Pinocchio.
I told you, the cast from Night of the Seven Kingdoms fits perfectly into this show.
I haven't seen it, so I can't.
The guy playing the hero would play Hobbs. The guy playing the villain would play Pinocchio because honestly, they have a great chemistry together, and it just works.
Here's the thing, though, right? You're talking about the lead from Night of the Seven Kingdoms playing
Yes.
Hobbs.
Yeah.
Okay,
He's
the
about the
problem
right
I
age.
have, he's about the right age. The problem is that man is massive and looks like Hobbs ate Hobbs, who ate another Hobbs. That dude is area code. Hobbs is kind of supposed to be like this, like he's not that tall, he's not built, like he's just this everyday soldier, and I think that dude looks like a brick wall. I like.
Yeah, I mean, you
I,
can't.
I
call
don't
him-
know if that would work.
I
You
wasn't
can't call
thinking
him the
about that.
simple. You can't call him the simple man when he looks anything but that.
I wasn't thinking about his size. Apologize. I was thinking mostly about his acting chops and age.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. I was actually really surprised with that guy's performance. I thought he did a great job. I just, like I said, he's like if he was one of the bouncers in one of these bars, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. But like I said, he looks like Hobbs ate Hobbs.
Hobbs was not close to retirement. He was close to being discharged. He had finished his last
Well, that's
tour
what I
of
said.
duty.
That's what I said. He didn't do his 20.
Yeah, no, he wasn't retiring. He was simply accepting a discharge with honor.
Are you talking about the blonde in Night of the Seven Kingdoms?
Yeah, the guy who plays Sir. What the hell is his name? He's the hero.
I mean, yeah,
Giant dude.
he does look like he could pull off Dark and Brooding if you dyed his hair.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Peter Clappy, Sir Duncan.
No. I'm sorry. I was talking about his Pinocchio, the villain. Were you talking?
Oh,
about
Daniel
the blonde
Ings. Yeah, definitely.
guy? He even looks a little bit like. Yeah, I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
I had to get a picture of him with dark hair. He looks very different with dark hair than he does.
Yeah.
And you know, if we're gonna go Night of Seven Kingdoms, we can even throw in Rowan Robinson as Florence.
But I mean, in general, like understanding that you'd have to redo a lot of stuff. Do we think that that you could make it work in this day and age?
Not with
I think
Hollywood
so.
the way it is today. It would
I mean-
be ruined.
Okay, if this was attacked with decent writers, this is a cool idea. Like we've never really had an issue with the idea behind the show. I think with, like I was saying before, like the public has a better understanding of a lot of these concepts now. I think that even if it's not the best show on the planet, like it could be entertaining, and if you had decent writers, like this could go somewhere. And I think if you do it now with shorter episodes, say like 12 episodes a season, I think you could actually get a couple of seasons out of this. I just think at the time trying to go for 22 episodes a season really ruins the show with the amount of filler. Like I want you to explore the oddities of the virtual world, but not when the actual main quest feels like a side plot.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is that Terry O'Quinn must have had. I mean, he was big enough at that point. He must have had like conflicts. That has to be why. Why he's in so little of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, man. You could always, we were joking about just recasting him if you were to redo this, make him a bit older. You could have it be a situation where they get Santiago by the end of season 1, they kill him, and they still don't leave Harsh Realm. So they gotta, seasons 2 or 3 or whatever, they have to figure out how to actually exit the world while dealing with like a power struggle now that Santiago's gone. Now Waters could be propped up as the main villain for season 2. Like there's I think that there's actually potential for this to be decent if it were brought back.
Oh. Terry O'Quinn holds the record for playing the most distinct characters within the extended X-Files and Millennium universe, appearing in 4 different roles across the franchise. Apparently, his filming conflicts were other Chris Carter shows.
What? That's insane though, because
No, actually, that makes sense because he had a huge role in Millennium, and
that's
Millennium
true.
was
You know
running.
what? That's true.
Millennium was running in 1999.
Yeah, I was basically only thinking about, the X-Files or whatever. That checks out.
In the X-Files, he is Lieutenant Bryant Tillman in season 2, episode Aubrey. Darius Smishad in X-Files Fight the Future. Peter Watts in Millennium. And Shadow Man, the mysterious NSA whistleblower, revealed to be a super soldier
I'm
in
the
season
Shadow
9
Man.
episode Trust No One.
I knew it was happening.
I'll eat all your poop.
So
The kid who played Steve in Stranger Things wouldn't be terrible as Hobbs. I'm just not sure they could really get him because he's doing movies mostly now.
but that does explain, like, don't cast a important secondary character in 2 of your shows in the same season. Lesson learned.
Hopefully.
All right, folks. Thank you very much for being here. Appreciate you guys hanging out and watching this with me. And making fun of it with me. And this is the last of that season, so maybe someday they'll start, actually redoing shows that could have been good instead of wrecking the shows we actually like.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about remaking Logan's Run and make it good?
I mean,
I don't
yeah,
know.
it's not-
I like the original
okay.
Logan's Run. Yeah, it's not
It's
bad.
an okay movie.
Look at when it came out 1 year before Star Wars. Look at the special effects in Logan's Run. Look at the special effects in Star Wars. Not to mention, it is so 70s, and the story doesn't actually follow what the book was.
you
I'm like,
you missed Roman's stream on it, so you'll have to catch him on the next time around.
See, yeah. Anyway,
Enzo.
we could talk about Logan's Run some other time.
Enzo, what you got going on?
What do I have going on? Tomorrow I'll be on Lance's show, probably to talk about the Odyssey some more. And then, Abomination AJ's show, Tuesday night. And then Wednesday's movie, the chat voted for Three Ninjas. Full-length commentary, an old one from 2023, resurrected from the grave. So that should be fun. And yeah,
why are you talking about a story from 2,800 years ago? I'm not sure why the Odyssey.
I'm just now realizing that Spider Noir was way more woke than the Odyssey, and yet everyone loved it, and I thought that was baffling. I mean, I liked it too, but I'm just realizing that like right now.
Because everyone doubled down so much on we're gonna
Yeah.
hate this that they
I
now
know.
can't
They
admit
can't
that
take
they were
the
wrong.
L. I know.
Yeah, they can't admit they were wrong.
We'll probably do. Oh, we're gonna do a Thursday show. I'll be on Toasty with the Mosties channel Thursday at 6ish, 7ish, and then when that wraps up, we'll do a Stupenzo cast that got unlocked, and we'll watch more Odyssey related content we didn't get to last night, and also watch more Baywatch nights. Should be fun. I'll probably raise enough to do the Hot Ones challenge again. So I'll probably eat some spicy chicken nuggets and watch more Baywatch on Thursday night. That
be
should be
with you.
fun. I did it once. It wasn't bad, but I'm going to do it again faster this time. Just kind of eat all the nuggets like rapid fire, see if I could do that. I'll be fine.
God be with you.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I mean if we hit to the second benchmark goal, I'll be going to it'll open a Saturday streaming video game stream, whatever. And then I'm going to go to the H Mart, which is like this giant Asian supermart, and I'm gonna go try to buy all the weirdest, craziest canned animal products they have, and bring back a motherload of weird tentacles and sea creatures and stuff to try. I'm an adventurous eater.
That
I'm
sounds
excited.
entertaining.
Yeah.
All right, Dutch, what you got coming up?
Hard to tell. There are a bunch of shows that I've been guesting on recently with folks like Theta Theta of Nerdic Archaeology, your own shows, Mr. Brown Alliance. Jill is finally back. Anti-Derivative Jill is finally back from her vacation, so I'll probably be on some of her shows. And I'm still trying to get my own content going. But best of all, next Monday, I'm going to be playing in an awesome role-playing game run by this awesome lady I know called the Eclectic Goat.
Yes, but that's not online, so.
I know. Aren't you all jealous?
All right. Eraser, got anything you want to plug?
Yeah. So tomorrow, right, Jacob? I will be on your
Correct.
channel talking about Babylon 5, Season 1, Episodes 1 and 2. We're finally past the pilot. We've worked out some of the kinks and got rid of some of the actors that can act. So we'll be rolling, and I'm excited for that. And then I believe next Monday, because it got pushed now at 4:00 Eastern, I will be over on the Wayfarer projects for. We'll be talking about the Silmarillion. I believe we're talking about the chapter of the coming of the elves. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what we're doing. Should be fun.
Okay. Jacob?
Yeah, tomorrow night, Babylon 5, first 2 episodes. Looking forward to that with Goat and Eraser. Then I think, Roman's channel for a free range discussion, and that's about it.
Okay. So I
Also Wednesday I'll be on with Tom be on Chinwag.
Oh, sweet. Tuesday, I will also be on the Babylon 5 stream. Wednesday at 7 o'clock, just after Chinwag, we will be starting the 3rd season of Slice and Dice. We're moving it back to Wednesdays because that seemed to work a whole lot better for people. My puppy also has his vet appointment at 4 o'clock on Wednesday, which was not great planning on my part. So if I'm still sniffling when, Slice and Dice starts, everyone forgive me. Thursday, I may be popping into Roman's stream, which is a free range show. And next Tuesday is my neurology appointment where I get to get electrocuted a lot. So everybody wish me luck. And then we're going to talk Warhammer on Wednesday. A week from Wednesday. So lots and lots going on.
Yeah, you should go. You should check your Ko-Fi.
I should.
There was something given 2 hours ago, it says.
Really? I didn't get any notifications.
I just checked. It says someone gave support 2 hours ago.
Oh, yeah. Hey, thanks, someone. I assume someone does not want to be someone. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So does Zephyr. Very, very much. I'm really terrible about accepting help, and therefore, the fact that my innards get all queasy when somebody gives me stuff does not come out of my mouth very well, because I don't squeal like a girl very effectively. But I promise, inside I am squealing like a girl.
Good luck, Zephyr.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It's fingers crossed. We'll see how it goes. So thank you very much to Goofus for his donation and to the someone for his donation. And I hope that everybody has a really good night tonight. And I hope that we will see you all on Jacob's channel tomorrow and back here to hang out with Professor DM and Every Games and Grim Jim and me as we make light fun of Critical Role. And on Thursday. I'll be online a lot this week.
Keep him busy.
Yeah, very busy. So, everybody, happy headbutting.
I go.
Later.
Take care.
That's a fucking good.
Eclectic Goats got videos of indie authors and cinema love. A passion for the weird and the strange. She's snappily dressed and only slightly deranged. Come and meet the eclectic goat, lover of classics and whiskey notes, disciple of horror and the written word. Happy head hunting, come join the herd. Shows might be a little improper. We've got real zombie, fake whizzes the otter, pizza in one hoof, glass in the other, deciding which role-playing games we will cover. Come and meet the eclectic goat, lover of classics and whiskey notes, disciple of horror and the written word. Happy headbutting, come join the herd. Got a thing for black and white screens, crappy horror with low budget scenes. Choose on the history, spits out the law. Time for another whiskey pour. Come and meet the eclectic goat, lover of classics and whiskey notes, disciple of horror and the written word. Happy headbutting, come join the herd.